Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2023 Iowa Beef Expo. If you will so kindly stand, remove your headgear, the American flag, at least one of them is right over here. I think that's the only one. Miss Maggie Moss is back from yesterday to do the national anthem for us.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you once again, Miss Maggie Moss, the pride of Adair, right? Well, it's crossbred all day long on the market side, crossbred or commercial and Angus. Over on the heifer side, I'll tell you about the judges here in a little bit, but we're looks like we're about ready to start. While we're waiting on the first classes to come in, first of all, volume, how are we today? Okay? Top row, it seems louder. Top row, volume, good? Okay. Our judges on the steer side today, coming out of Tennessee, what's he dressed in today? Got the dark blue blazer on today, Mr. Chance Young, Springville, Tennessee. Actually, Chance and his family own and operate Young Brothers in Springville. He and his wife, Gretchen, have 4 children, Paisley, Gus, Hattie, and Dottie, and Chance earned his master's degree from Murray State University and is now an ag ed teacher in his hometown. Is that Murray State Runners, Chance? Chance? Chance. Is that Murray State Runners? What's Racers, that's right, Murray State Racers. Will Core is the other judge, hailing from well, he's originally from North Carolina, but him and his wife, Warren, live there in Greenfield, Ohio. Will, originally from Selma, North Carolina, attended Black Hawk East Junior College. When you guys are ready, I'm good. Go
ahead. Good morning. Definitely a pleasure to be back with you guys today. Looking forward to sorting through these crossbreds and really pumped up to be here and just get to sort through these cattle. We're going to roll right along here. The young man brings us obviously a younger, kind of a grinier, skinnier type of a calf here, but a steer that still has a quality look from the side, really nice in his lines and honestly really good in his structure. There's no doubt that he just needs more time and maturity, but the build and blocks are there for him to continue to get to improve down the road. Congratulations to him on a nice single entry.
Well, good morning from the Angus side. Certainly a pleasure to be here again today. Boy, we've got a nice heifer to start off our Angus division, one that's very sound and very functional off either end of her skeletal design. She's got some rib and some body and some power, got a nice look, very nice way to start off our show this morning.
Well, good morning. It's a pleasure to be back here this morning to evaluate these Angus. And this young lady's brought a July female out here. Really super complete, ultra feminine fronted, big powerful hip and nice back shape in this one. I think this is a heifer that come next summer this little girl's going to have a lot of fun with. Congratulations.
Over on the market side, single entry first class, class 500, Josh Fenwick, Elkport, Iowa. Over on the Angus side, class 400, single entry, Carly Mandernack of Bernard first. Class 401, I believe, was a scratch. Now entering the ring, class 402, Angus Heifers.
Good morning out there to everybody tuned in to liveauctions.tv here for your heifer show, Angus side here. Tim Loudon and myself, Chad Hocamp, are here to bring through for you today a little bit here of the show as we're started. Matt's got them placed here. It looks like Grace Wellman with the Gamble's Hot Rod's going to win that class, and we'll let Matt Copeland, our judge, and Danny Harker. Matt's going to be talking to you here this class here.
Well, a nice class of females here. We got one that's a little more ready for today. One that's really sound and very functional. She's good boned. She's good footed, good in her angles, very capacious in her body type and kind, and yet still good enough looking. Dan and I might like to see this one leaned up in terms of freshness, in terms of her condition, maybe pushing a little too much grease for us for this age. The one that comes in second, we really like this female. She just gives up a little bit of that depth of body compared to the ones ahead of her, and a little bit of maturity and stoutness, but keep doing what you're doing. I think that one will make a great bred down the road. Then the young man that rounds out the class, very nice, complete kind of a female. She just gives up too many bells and whistles to the two that are ahead of her.
as they get through that class. Look like we got a big class coming in here in class 403. Looks like we got 9 of them scheduled to be in here. Look like we've got some names here that could have some good stuff for us. But we've got an Insight, got a Stag Good Times, Blacklist, one that says Dammer, and I wonder if that's a first class. Could be Katie Collison, Lake City. They surely could have a first class.
Yep, it is. Mine's got first class on it.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
I got you.
Yep.
Didn't quite see it on what I had there, so, yep.
So, yeah, good morning, everybody. Again, Tim Loudon here. We got awesome to be back with Chad. Great day yesterday. We absolutely had a blast. The text messages and Snapchats coming in with people as they had questions or comments. Feel free to send it to Chad or I again today. Just we really, really enjoyed it. We do have a kill switch today, so hopefully we can give you a few more commentaries as we go through. We will definitely turn on our heifer judges for their comments. We'll also turn on Jay Bradley or the center court when they're giving the results
Call the names
of this
out
heifer.
for us.
Yeah, call
Yep.
the names out. So we'll you're gonna, unfortunately, maybe or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, probably hear a little more of Chad and I today, but that's okay. We still have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of things to bring up. So very cool. Another
Tim,
good class.
It looks like maybe if I counted right on our sheet, we should have 9, but I only see 7 out there. So maybe a few of them weren't as early risers to get out here in this class. But quality is good out here in that entire group.
Yeah, there's 2 up here where we're like. There's 1 or 2 heifers in there that just stand out like a sore thumb, man. They are way groovy, man. They're good looking cattle.
You know, the strength Iowa Angus have is just very dominant, you know, and they've had success at the national level, and I mean, they're really bringing the quality here to us
Yeah,
today.
not only the kids showing them and exhibiting them, that they'll go far and wide to buy them, but also we got some really good breeders in Iowa of the Angus. I mean, there's a lot of really good ones bred and raised and born in the state of Iowa for not only the Iowa kids, but everybody else in the country, too.
We've got the mix, what I would say, the old traditional true names, the blue bloods of Iowa that have been raised in Angus, plus we got some newer ones that are doing a really good job as well, too. So, good to see. Man, this is not going to be an easy class to be pulling from the bottom there, Tim.
No, not at all. There's you get them out on the move and it kind of sorts up a little better, but again, there's 3 heifers in there that are really, really good. Here comes another. Here comes your late entry. Here comes your late
one of our
entry.
2. She got coming and going, and she jumped right in here. We've got set across, if you've got it crossways to see there, Judge Danny Harker's up front there on that first heifer going in around. And then we've got, as he works their way down, and if you hadn't tuned in yesterday, if you just new to tuning in on the Angus side, they've gone through and they will go ahead and usually pull them things last to first in his big group, and then kind of re-walk a few of them ones that they've got narrowed down here to the top. So if you got a little bit of the background noise, we got Will Core over on your steer side starting your crossbred steer show here at the Beef Expo. But today we've got Angus heifers and commercial heifers. 2 judges conferring out there. But, you know, I thought it was interesting. We talked about even today, if you look at, I would imagine we got, between Collison Alpha, Style, Dameron First Class, Stag Good Times, Blacklist, Insight, just a lot of different sires represented here today again.
Well, that's been the one thing we've been looking at the whole time we've been here. The different breeds and stuff, they are the sires represented. There's a lot of crossover, obviously. The 24 carats, the Styles, the Primos. You know, they were in the Keys, they're in the Maintainers, the Main Anguses.
They were all over the place, weren't they?
The Follow Me's.
Follow Me had a good day in the foundations.
Yep. You know, a lot of them in the Shorthorn Pluses. So within the breeds, there's some variation, but there's a lot of sires that keep popping up within the different breeds as we look around today too.
Yeah. And one thing you get, like it or not, when you talk about the crossover, I mean, the Angus side is the beef business, but I mean everything starts and stops with the Angus breed. There's so much crossover, and so many of them, basic composite Angus cattle, don't have a composite Angus division, but all the rest of them do, because the limbs require it to be a half-blood Angus.
Yep.
The main Angus got to have a lot in
Key
there.
Angus.
Key Angus.
Semi-Angus. I mean, Louisville has a semi-Angus division, let alone just the foundation.
Mid half-blood. Yep. And as we work, a lot of them are working to get, data to share across the board. I think it's good as we get that tuned in here. So we're down to 5, as you can see. The judges have made their first pull. I don't know if they'll rewalk them or just kind of keep pulling on them here a little bit.
So when we have just a second here, I'll just kind of go over this. Ones that are for folks that are just tuning in today, and we do have the switch today to going to go back and forth. But our lead judge, the gentleman center ring there without the cowboy hat, is Dan Harker. He's from Hope, Indiana. Dan and his family reside in Indiana, own and operate Harker Scimitals. 135 head cow-calf operation. They got purebreds and percentage Scimitals and some Angus. They sell bulls and open heifers and embryos through public auction and online sales. He grew up active in the American Junior Scimital Association, judged collegiately at Purdue University. Shout out to my old boss, Dr. Roger Hunsley. He was the Purdue judge and team coach for years and years and years, and then he went on to be the executive secretary of the American Shorthorn Association, where I had the privilege to work with Dr. Hunsley. Just as a side note, Dan's judged at the Royal National Western International, the North American International Livestock, several shows across. Him and his wife, they've judged showmanship, I bet, gazillions of times, probably more times than you have, Holtkamp, and that's a lot. Got 2 sons, Luke and Chase. Luke's at K-State, vet med, animal science. Here's
here, you get to the top end of these things, and you got to sort them on personal preferences. But I think this young man here that we start off this class with, when that one gets out and goes, she excels within this class. Super, super athletic. You love the extension that she has in that front 1/3. Lays in nice and neat in that shoulder, but yet still real capacious in her rib shape and design. That's a heifer that gets out and goes on a set of running gear that you just got to love. I mean, she just floats around the ring when he gets her out and gets her going. Excellently presented out here today. I think that's just a logical class winner for us. The one here in the second hole is one that's another one of those, a really, really good set of running gears under that one. She gets out and goes the way she needs to. Really gets out and hits a long stride off those rear 2 when you set her into motion, handles her front end the way she needs to. Just needs to be a little deeper in her flank, give her a little bit more stifle expression within this class, but that's a really good heifer there in the second hole. The heifer here in 3rd, standing still. You love this heifer, but when we set her into motion, we saw where she was kind of rocking off that front end and wanting to roll those front 2. She's a little shorter strided off those rear 2 than the ones in front of her, but a really nice heifer. Just maybe needs to be toned down on her energy level a little bit. This is a heifer here that, I'm predicting one on down the road in terms of feed and quality into next fall. I think that one's got a super show career in front of her for that young man. She just needs a little bit of time and maturity. Keep rolling on her. That one's going to be pretty sporty come next July. The next one coming out, we love this one's design. We just think that she's a little quick in terms of her overall pattern. She's one that I think is going to be a little smaller framed in the end compared to the ones in front of her, but a really nice constructed kind of female. The next female's coming out. We just like to change them in terms of balance and eye appeal to get them up any higher today.
Good class. That was a really, really good class of Angus females that comes up through there. That was deep and really, really good all the way through that one, Chad.
I think if we got it right, we're not sure on our number, but I believe Cal Pryor of Woodbine was our class winner. Tyson Gretzka was 2nd in that class. It looks like an alpha heifer to win the class. Insight there to be 2nd. So we'll try to do a little bit better for you folks. We kind of get talking and paying attention and trying to get back in our groove here today. Yep.
Should have a class of 6 is what I got. I don't know what you got on yours. We're running off of different programs today. Sorry, folks,
yep.
but
yeah, looks like we got 6 on this side. Couple blacklist. I thought I recognized that kid, but that must be a different one there, or we kind of come through here.
Man, just going down through here, these are big classes, and there's a lot of names that people recognize in these. As we go through, we'll talk about them, but.
Well, it's just not for the weak of heart here on this Heifer show, though. We talked about that yesterday, about how good they were, and just the depth that they've got out here.
Oh, I was sitting there. I was telling Karen last night. I said, granted, we got a lot of cattle to go to, but I said, Chad and I were talking. You know, after the first 5 divisions yesterday, we had a good top 5 just in them. And that's nothing. That's nothing against the mains and the semis or the Angus or the commercials. That's not even gained them. That was the first 4, 5, 6 divisions were outstanding yesterday. So it's fun. These guys, we had a good chance to talk to the judges, to Dan and Matt. And, I mean, they were just giddy. They were smiling this morning, weren't they, Chad? Of just how good it was and how much fun they had yesterday.
And I know talking to them and Matt had talked about just how good these cattle are going to be. We get them back out here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they just can't wait to get them things back out with what we're going to get here today. So, you know, and I just talking sires to the Angus enthusiasts. We got a Marvel Select Sires' bull there in the front end. On there, and I think that I don't have my mind. That's got to be the Thorson boy there in second. That's a Digney heifer. I don't know. I think it goes back to that 419, a staple of the Angus breed. She looked good coming around a quarter to me. Got down to 4.
Again, our judges today, they are not, they're making the decisions quick and decisive, getting right after it. They took these 6 down to a pair pretty quick. I would say they're gonna get this and 2 really good heifers up here. There's that's the Dignity heifer, right?
Elsie Engel, Colfax, is that the one in second? Yeah, it looks like Simon Thorson there is a young man comes out there at the front end. I was wondering, I don't know which cow it is. I think it goes back to that 419, but his brother had that casino heifer that I know I used 5th overall. She would have won the Beef Expo here, and she's 5th overall Junior Nationals. They do a nice job. I think that'd be a Boyer core heifer.
That's a good female. That's a way good female.
She looks very nice. Should be Matt's turn to talk this class. See what he has to say about one like that. But if that's any indication how good this Angus division is going to be, Tim, it's going to be pretty burly.
Wow, we talked about that yesterday. I mean, that first 2 or 3 classes, smaller in numbers, are pretty good. But so we're just in the first class of Aprils. We got another class of Aprils. There's 3 classes of Marches that are coming. Just kind of not wishing my life away, but just looking forward to it. Looking forward up through here. Got to flip my page. Yeah, 2 classes of February's, 2 classes of January. So we get in them the big burly ones. I mean, they're going to be way good.
Class off here, boy, this heifer's very, very dynamic and unique in her pieces. Boy, you love the way her neck comes out top side of her shoulder and ties into the top of her skull. Very beautiful headed, so chiseled from that chin down to her chest floor, and that chest floor bounces all the way to that udder. And then you get on top of her, and she's got some power to her. She's got some top and some hip and some lower hind quarter to her. She's big boned, she's big footed, she's very athletic on the move. And to have that much power and be that long bodied, she's still very nice in her shoulder. Very, very high quality. Nothing against the heifer in second. She's high quality too. Boy, she's a dense bodied, bold sprung one that's got plenty of power to her. She just gets a little more refined in her bone and her footwork, and maybe just needs to be freshened up in the terms of bottom of her chest compared to our class winner, but very, very high quality, very nice female. Female that comes here next, one that's got a nice look to her. She just gets a little short and round out of her hip and a little steep out of her pastern. Same for the 3 heifers that round out the class. Very good. They have some body, they have some power and some performance. We just need to see them more structurally correct off either end of their skeletal design.
Well, we're going to start announcing it as we always do at the end of the day, 30 minutes after the last class of the day, no matter what side it is, 30 minutes after that last class, we will start with the supreme drive of the steers this year. The steers will go first. The heifers will finalize the event. So 30 minutes after the last class of the day, no matter what side, just like always, we'll be starting the final drive with the steers. Let me catch you up over on the heifer side. Angus heifers, class 402, first place to Gracie Hirschberger. Wellman, second to Susie Fredericks of Milo, third to Tate Harris of Waverly. Class 403, Angus heifers, first place, Cal Pryor Woodbine. Second to Tyson Goretzka of Corden, third to Addison Sweeney of Vinton, fourth. Silas Koenig of Pleasantville, fifth. To Emmett Fisher of Albia, sixth. To Claire Christensen of Linden, seventh. To Katie Collison of Lake City, eighth. To Kinsey Andrick of Mason City, and ninth to Logan Evans of Homiston. Placings for class 404, Angus heifers, first place, Simon Thorson of Knoxville. Second to Elise Engel of Colfax, third. Bryn Davis Bloomfield, fourth. Emerson Wirt Guthrie Center, fifth. Zachary Dowd of Batavia, and sixth to Cameron Heemstra of Knoxville. That brings us right up to the class currently in the ring, class 405.
All right, Tim, we got class 405 in here. We're trying to get some audio things going. Hopefully we get, hopefully you can hear us over here over top of talking about them guys okay. But, boy, another good class here, 405. Just going through there, we've got good times, 24 karat Maverick, the natural. Haven't seen a natural yet. That's a good bull there, but a lot of quality.
There appears to be a 24 karat. There's a couple heifers in this thing that are super nice. There's a good heifer right here.
Yep.
Look at that. There's some cattle out here too that they might have some little flaws that make them maybe ideal for the showing, the show ring. I mean, you know, they got to have all the I's dotted and T's crossed. But that, I'm just, the one that just got pulled in, that heifer, that one's burly. That is I mean, she maybe needs her loin fixed just a little, but I mean, but that one's got a lot of rib and shape.
Big bodied, low maintenance female right there.
I'm telling you, that's not all bad, I don't think, at all.
Yep.
So,
but presentation-wise, these Angus guys are bringing it here today.
oh, I mean, I walked back through the barns a little bit ago. We got here a little early, and there was paint and glue. There was scissors were flying. There was stuff going everywhere back
things
there.
are happening.
Yeah.
You know, when it's pretty good, when the makeup area, everybody gets up to the rail and wants to see some stuff. And we did talk
Absolutely.
about that one of Thorson's when that last class. Hey, boy, sure bragged her up pretty good, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did.
Matt,
yeah.
he liked that one
she's
good.
a good one. It's pretty
She
easy to
is
brag
good,
about. Yeah.
yes. Now, can we figure out who's in this roundup right here, right now? We got a couple, 3 of these things that look very good.
Oh, Shelby Griman's still out there. Who's right in front of Shelby? Braden Smalley appears.
330, yeah, could be.
And then I think Mariah Steinhardt or Steinhardt.
Mason City.
I'll go ahead and apologize for butchering names. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Oh.
They're going to take them
Now
3
this
into
is-
motion. Hey, we do apologize, you guys. They have their numbers on their back are small. And you get
we're
a couple old
And
guys
we're old.
that are squinting and trying to look, and it doesn't help no matter what we do.
Yeah. So if we miss one and say the wrong,
We
wrong
apologize.
kid, we apologize. Like Chad said yesterday, these young people, they can change within 6 months, let alone within a year or 2 since we've seen them.
Hard,
So
yep. Yeah.
we'll have to get on management. We'll have to get on show management about that, Chad. Get the numbers bigger if we get a contract for next year.
As I say,
If we,
hey,
if we get invited back.
If you start making demands, that's about time we get let go.
Oh,
So we
well,
got to be careful
It's not
on
a
the
demand.
demands.
It's a suggestion. That's a suggestion.
Yeah, that somebody else made. We're just repeating. Don't shoot the
Exactly.
messenger.
We're going to say that came through liveauctions.tv on their Snapchat or their what's it called, Margot? What they can say stuff to us on your what? Log in and it's on
Liveauctions.tv.
liveauctions.tv. If you got a comment, Margot will pick it up for us and send it over to us. So if you have comments on this or the steer show and our commentary, just log into liveauctions.tv. Or I'll give Chad's number out here after a bit, and you can just text Chad.
There you go. We get a chance, we'll have to. Got Will over top talking, but them guys are debating on them 3 really hard. Very nice. Yeah, that's one we liked really well, and she's over on the side, not really getting a lot of consideration right now, Tim. But
she got parked.
Yeah.
She got parked. That heifer in 4th is a nice heifer. She's got a lot of good things to her.
she does, and it just constitutes how nice it is in terms of the show. But the other thing you do when you from a distance or up on the video, we're still judging outlines. Them guys down on there they can fine tune some things that they're looking for and what
They
they're
get down
after.
into their feet and all that. I mean, from up here we can see that they have 4. Not necessarily all that much about it.
Yeah.
I'd say they got it. So this class of 3, this class, when they walk these 3, appears like Shelby Graman's going to win this class. Gets in there. This is the first time they walked them all. Here's our judges.
Here, this young lady we start off with, I think when you just sit back and you analyze the silhouette of this heifer, she just gives you that cookie cutter look. Really good and extended through that front 1/3. You like the way she lays in that shoulder. A tremendous amount of rib shape and design. You get up on her, she doesn't disappoint you in terms of back shape and the hip that one has in her. Good in her angulation and her joints and her knee. That's a nice heifer. Young lady does an awesome job showing. The next one coming out, really good in her own right. She's maybe a little shorter neck than what our first place heifer is, but a heifer in terms of body type and kind you really gravitate to. That's a pair of heifers I think come to the top of this class really, really easy for us. This 3rd heifer coming out, we love the way this one's designed, but when you set her into motion, she's just not wanting to get out and go quite right off those rear 2 today. That's one that I think is if she could just get out and stride a little better, a little freer and easier today, she could be at the top of this class. We love the way that one's designed. That young man does an awesome job getting her trainers showed. She just needs to move a little better out here today. Big, stout, high-performing heifer here coming out in the next hole. Gets a little straighter in that shoulder than what we like to ideally see, but that's a heifer that definitely has her place in the industry, and that young lady does a good job with. Next one coming out, a really nicely constructed heifer, maybe a little quicker in her overall design than what the ones are in front of her, a little chuffier through that lower third than what we'd like to see today, but that's a heifer that's got a lot of good to her. Coming out, the rest of the heifers in this class just need to balance them up a little nicer, give them a little bit more quality.
Very good. That's a good class they liked. Oh, yeah, wow. We get we get sidetracked. We're like easy to get sidetracked up here as we watch this deal. Shelby Greiman wins that class on that Greiman Focus. Really nice quality heifer.
Good heifer.
That was a tough go. Them top three was real good as they looked up there and talked to them. And then Mariah Steenhard, if we get that right, Mason City on 24 karat. So as we come in here, we get class 406 of the day here. They keep working right along here on a Sunday morning.
These first two efforts just right in off the get-go. I mean, you could just stop this class and say, all right, these win. That's good enough.
Get out here in this first division of crossbreds, and, you know, we get them back.
Get out here. We've got 22nd of March to the 30th. 8-day spread here in these March heifers.
That's crazy.
We got 3 classes of March Angus heifers here today at your Iowa Beef Expo. This class is loaded.
This is way good.
We got a Severa Forbes. We haven't seen a Forbes yet today, I know of. We've had
that would be and that Sankey's bull. Isn't that Sankey's bull?
Yeah, he was.
Forbes?
Yeah,
that
he won. Yep.
He won like everything, right?
He
Show
did.
bull of the
Yep.
year, right?
Yep. Hey, can I go ahead and to make a comment on that one?
Oh yeah.
As the first one to use him on his streak of champions.
I knew you were. I knew you were smart.
I got to get them little tidbits thrown in there whenever I can. But that was a hell of an animal. Very good. Yeah. And I come to find out, Collison's bred to female. So he's got ties to Iowa.
Yep. That's for cool.
They sold that. They sold his mother as a bred heifer, him aboard, to Severos out there. Garrett bought her as a bred heifer.
So he was
from
Collison's. He was in vitro or in cow when in uterine when they sold her.
I don't know. He had that baby on board sticker.
No doubt, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I always knew you had a sharp eye, and it just proves it right then and there.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, that's the other thing that comes through it all. You know, I don't know, and I'm not bragging or banging my drum, but the same token is that's how One-Eyed Jack. We raced TLC One-Eyed Jack, the Simmental bull. We bought him. It was the high selling. We bought him at the Iowa Beef. Well, I bought her, his mother, at the Iowa Beef Expo from the Long family, and he was on board there. And 2 weeks later, he shucked out at our place, and nice calf. I mean, done well. That cow did us a lot of good. But yeah, there's good buys at the Iowa Beef Expo, and coming out of Iowa, you just got to know what to look for.
Yep. Yeah, this class here is going to take them a little bit to migrate through. Looks to me like, because I don't think we're going to make some pulls on the downside, and then I think we'll probably have some rewalking again.
Yeah, that last class when they re-rocked that top 3, that's the first time they've done that all. The first time in 2 days, and that's in about the 5th class of Angus. So it's only a matter of what's going to happen now. So. That's good. We'll let them sort through these a minute, and then we'll
not gonna get
make some
any
comments.
Easier. I think he's talking. As they confer out there in the center, trying to get a little bit of a start. Is that what you call celebrity sighting? Do we have a celebrity sighting up here?
Celebrity sighting in the nosebleed
section. He got bashful.
section.
Took it back off. He must be on his phone talking about us.
These people come up here
Must
to
be
visit us.
bashing.
I mean, We're almost within greatness. We've had 2 celebrities so far up here today already, Chad.
Oh,
in the
my
first half
goodness.
hour.
Yes, this is one there, yes.
It might be bad they gave us a toggle switch. We're going to talking
Yeah,
a
we
lot.
get a little more talking.
Here comes Jay Bradley giving the heifer results.
Is he coming? He's getting ready. We'll let you listen to Jay Bradley.
Over on the heifer side, placings for class 405 Angus heifers. First place, Shelby Greiman of Goodall. Second to Mariah Steenhard of Mason City. Third to Braden Smalley, Nevada. Fourth to Lauren Zabel of Kellogg. Fifth to Shaylin Wyman of Makokata. Sixth, Steele Lindgren of Boone. Seventh to Ellery Henriksen of Williamsburg. And eighth to Stephanie Krog of Sergeant Bluff. That was placings for class 405, currently in the ring, class 406.
Everybody's got to get their dose of Jay Bradley every day if you're going to come up here and take in and have part of the Beef Expo. So what do we got down here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Down to 4.
Yep.
On the
Taking a hot
rewalk.
lap.
Do we pay attention to who that young lady is there in the front? I can't tell you. Simon Thorson is one that's in there.
Jacob Greiman.
Jacob Greiman. Can't read that young lady's.
She got pulled.
She got pulled. Well, that first one is nice there. I'd like to get her number. That young lady, that red sweater on here.
I brought a high top and better chairs for us. I should have brought my binoculars.
I think we got too comfortable is what we did. Something with a 1 on the backside. 431, maybe 621.
621, how about that?
Micah Weaver with
Micah Weaver.
Forbes.
Yep. Again, your claim to fame, one of your many
There
claims.
you go, yes.
You found Forbes off the get-go. That's awesome.
I don't know if I'm going to say I found him. I think he pretty well yelled on the screen.
There we go.
Thorson looked like they're going to have their second class winner of the
Yep,
day,
that
another
one's a nice
dignity.
one too, man.
Yeah, she's a very nice
Them
effort.
3 are all good. Here's our judge.
Another nice class Angus females. The one that wins just does so just from a structural integrity standpoint and balance and freshness, and yet she's still got some good upper rib shape to her, got a nice body cavity, got some stoutness and some muscle to her. Very sound at the ground, very good looking, very nice place to start. Heifer that comes here in second. You really like the mass and the burliness that this female gives you. She's so broody and cowy looking, but it might go as her disadvantage out here on the halter, as we just like to lean her up there in the crest of her neck, lean her up there from the bottom of the top of her crest to the bottom of her throat, make her just a little bit more extended, and she'd win the class. Heifer that comes next, just simply very wide, structured, wide skeleton, wide base kind of a female, just simply gives up too much growth and performance for us out here today. That heifer that comes along next definitely has the advantage in terms of growth and performance, but she wants to get a little easy in her hip-loin junction, wants to get a little narrow-chested for us out here today. The young lady's heifer that comes next got a lot of power and performance in her, just needs to balance up on either end of her skeletal design. She gets a little coarse and open in her shoulder, wants to get a little funky off those hind too. The heifers that round out the class are all good quality cattle. They need to be more elevated in terms of frame or be prettier fronted or sounder off either end as they get out and go.
Matt Copeland there giving you a good description again on breaking down those Angus heifers for us. Giving us a good look there. So, again, the Thorson heifer wins that class. Weaver heifer is second. Now we get into class 407. Should be 9th of March to 20th of March. And still one more class of March heifers of them early ones to come out here. So, imagine this ought to be a good class again. We've got a few good names coming out here.
Got a Beeson, Mather, Curtin, Fisher, Putney, Paulson, and Burns.
Burns, yeah. Kennedy Burns would be.
Recognize all of them. Do you?
I do too, yeah. Yep. I was gonna say they'd have some good stuff.
Oh my.
I see. Yeah, it looks good. We had. You could watch as they walk in. I see a Phil Hall back over there on the end there, wanting to get in there tight. got people reading their programs. It's nice to have some sires on here. We got a Nord's Unbelievable to start with, a pair of 24 carats, Cherry No Insight,
Kyle's No Limit Bull.
No Limit.
2 more 24s and a Primo.
Primo, yep. Boy, is that the Mather heifer just take the lap right around there? Man, she's
nice.
She's dialed in good. I think her brother, he's pretty handy at that dressing them things too. Not that a lot of them young kids are not. I'd say they'd look good. The Sloan Curtin heifer there in third. I can kind of just see her, the sun kind of getting a silhouette from where we're looking at her. I think she's right there with the long,
Dark hair, kind of a
hair pulled back there on your screen if you're looking. I'm sure that heifer will look dang nice when we get her back out here and go. But it's going to be tough sledding. Only thing I don't see is I don't see.
Don't forget, if you
Paulson.
have folks
Paulson.
at home or around the world that wasn't able to be here today and wants to watch your young ones show, go to liveauctions.tv, and you'll also hear commentary this year. Heifer side, Chad Holtkamp and Tim Loudon. It appears again today, and there they are. Hi, Timmy. Thank you. And on the steer side, Mr. Ryan Habiger, and I believe that's Noel again up there. But liveauctions.tv now commentated. Also, when you get home, if you want to see about some ring shots of your child, go to hamiltonphotos.net, hamiltonphotos.net to find all the backdrop and the ring shots that you see several photographers around the ring taking. hamiltonphotos.net.
As we get here in the heifer side, they start making some pulls. I got it's easy for us there again. We get a little distracted, a lot going on. We appreciate the shout out for Jay Bradley Hook to give us here on liveauctions.tv as we're working through, and appreciate Live Auctions having us add a little commentary. One thing about it, if you don't like our commentary,
Get out here in the first class of Division II crosses, and the young lady with the pink sweater.
Didn't mean to turn down. Mr. Will Core does a good job of describing them, but we'll try to get through here a little bit. Looks to be like Kennedy Burns is still in the mix. Sloan Curtin's still in the mix.
Keegan Mather, I'd say, is still in the mix. And Olivia Beeson, I think, right?
Beeson, is that 60?
What? I think it's 180. This
180, is that what it is? Oh, yep. Is that the Mather heifer got pulled out?
Yep, I believe so, yes.
Well, that's a nice heifer, though.
Oh, man.
They got her looking good.
Man, I am
Compliments to
telling
them guys as a family.
Small world story on the Mather family. Her dad, when I student taught, her dad was a freshman in high school, and I taught him. Yeah.
Oh, you taught Joe?
Yep.
Yep.
So I'll take it. You take credit for the Forbes Bull. I guess I don't know if I want to take credit for that.
I was just going to say, there must be a lot of maternal strength because them kids turned out pretty dang nice considering.
Yeah.
And all good fun picking on Joe, but it's all good. Hey, we got a battle. I think them two guys are neighbors.
I think they're.
I think Joe Burns' daughter and them guys are basically neighbors right there.
So I think you're right.
Yep. I don't have where that one is, but I think they've got their mind made up. So
there you go.
Sloan Kern to be our class winner, and then Kennedy is going to be second. And Kennedy's going to be, and them guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with for a lot of years as well as they get started and warmed up here.
So yesterday when we were talking, coming up through the, Karen did say we probably blithered a little on the mini Herefords yesterday, gone on and on. It's like the cattle were good, but the kids were great. So we talked about that. But here's a perfect example of coming up through the mini Herefords and graduating up into the, she had great mini Herefords, but now she's graduated up into like way good Angus, just moving on up. So that's cool.
So we're going to turn off here in a second. You can listen to these guys talk Sloan Curtin's heifer here right now. As soon as we get Will over with. Tune in, you're going to listen to a little bit of Will Core finishing up on his before they start their heifers.
On the lead there, he just gets too uneasy off of both ends, kind of more upright in both ends of his structure. The young lady's black calf that comes here, if you want to switch that pair and talk doability, talk practicality and body, hey, that's cool too. Our issue with that guy is if we are going to move him up, in our opinion, we have to be better in terms of our structure, just kind of a little straighter in our shoulder, a little bit more restricted there in terms of our rear end movement. Young man that brings the calf that's going to round us out. Really nice in terms of his just body design, really easy feeding type of a steer for that young man to go into the summer with. I'm sure he'll make a really nice fat steer. Doesn't have the bells, the whistles, or just the design to run with those ones ahead of him today.
Wow, here in the Angus ring, I think we've got a really competitive class up here at the top end of this one. And this young lady here we start off with, when she hit the ring, I looked at Matt and I said, it's going to take a good one to beat this one in this class. And, she just kept our attention all the way through. But you talk about one that's ultimately designed, from the side. You love the way she extends through that front 1/3, lays in nice and neat in that shoulder, but yet still has that big swoopy rib cage that we all talk about. But you get up on top of that one, and she's got some shape up high. She's got some width to her back. She's got some stoutness to that hip and carries it all the way down into that stifle. And you set her into motion. She's extremely sound and gets out and goes on a really good set of wheels under. That's a high-quality one to start off this class with. This young lady here in the red sweater's got another one that's very intriguing to us. She's a little further along in her condition than what we'd like to ideally see. I think if you'd lean that one up, you'd pull her back in on all four corners and you'd make her get out and go around the ring just a little bit better, and that's where she needs to do. She just needs to be leaned up in that lower third, get her to where she wants to get out and go around the ring. But a powerfully constructed, awesome boned one with a good foot under, just a little chunky for us out here today. A really green conditioned one here that's got a lot of nice pieces to her. She's one that I think maturity and time is going to be her best friend. That young lady's going to have fun come next summer. The next heifer coming out, another one of those really nice eye-appealing heifers from the side. You like the look that she gives you and the amount of extension that she has, the levelness to her spine. Just needs to be a little wolfier to get her up in this class. The next female's coming out. We'd just like to see them handle themselves better on the move.
Keep stacking them up when it comes into gathering up some quality out here in these Angus heifers. They sure talked that one as well too. I thought she had a little more up to her. She had some power there behind.
She had some power. Here comes third class of marches, the first.
All right, over on the heifer side, placings for class 406. First place, Simon Thorson of Knoxville. Second to Jacob Greiman of Goodall. Third to Michael Weaver of Dougherty. Fourth to Carly Mandernack of Bernard. Fifth to Elizabeth Finling of Royal. Sixth to Dalton Zidlicki of Decorah. Seventh to Kyle Andresen of Olin. Eighth to Cassidy Snyder of Winterset. And ninth to Dana Shires of Corning. Placings for the class that just went out, class 407. First place, Sloan Curtin, Oxford. Second to Kennedy Burns of Oxford. Third to Olivia Beeson of Anthem. Fourth to Keegan Mather of State Center, 5th. To Luella Fisher of Melbourne, 6th. To Alexis Francie of New London, 7th. To Ryan Putney of Elgin. And Kennick Paulson was a scratch. Currently in the ring, class 408 Angus Heifers.
As you had Brad update you there a little bit, this is 408. Good class, big class, big class. We got some big names in this one as well.
I apologize for talking over Brad giving the results on the Heifer side. I got spoiled and flipping back and forth, so I will pay attention. Chad had to hit me, so sorry about that, Chad.
We got, yeah.
I'm just so excited to have this one coming in again, man.
You get, you get too carried away here. We might cut your pay in half.
Yeah, that'd be a shame.
We get out here. What do we got? We've got I knew that we had on the other side there. We got to flip back page to page, but we got a couple 24 carats. I think got some good look to him. What else do we have in here? We got a Mahogany Prime. We had him there. Hey, we got a SSF On Point, which would be Tyler Cates' Angus bull.
Yep.
His wife, I've seen some good stuff out of that thing before. Another Primo, Lance Round Table. Be a different one, hadn't seen.
I think you're on 9.
Oh, I'm on 9. I'm ahead of a little bit.
You're ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to get my pay cut here in a second. So we're 8. So we got an Alpha, Gateway. Still some of the same. Collison. Monte. Well, again, just a good class of heifers. As we went back through here, what do we got? We've got, and I'm just looking at for the Angus guys that like it. We had a 24 karat wins the last class. We had a Dignity. Would have had 2 Dignities. Thorson's actually have 2 Dignity heifers they've shown. Gryman Focus won a class. Collison Alpha won a class. Gamble's Hot Rod. So, and I think we got a couple of that first one I didn't get back into, but
Hot Rod's a bit of a throwback. Them were good cattle.
they were, as long as you could get them broke. Had a little bit of attitude.
That's why, but they were showed
They
off.
had a look, and
They had a
that their
look,
day
man.
had a hind leg that was rival second to none. Good stuff, and shows up in him be the sire of Severo Style, which shows up a lot of stuff. And you know, Primo, who's dominated the show heifer side, has got style in him on the first class side. Works really well together with the first class.
Yep, you got to be fairly tough with some of them. I know that.
Yep.
And I've been talking about that. Karen and I talked about that. We had a production cell for years and years, and I don't know. It's probably because I was younger and dumber for sure. But you know, I never really had much of a problem breaking anything. It seems like now that there are a few more attitudes within these cattle, and that, or is it just because I'm old and way more of a sissy?
I think it's going to have to say, because you can go back through. There's some of them in pedigrees that had some honerness back in the day, though. They sure did. I think your tolerance is just a little bit different.
Maybe less, yeah. There's a few of them now.
Realign your priorities. Look like we're down to 2. Look like we got Emily Collison still in the mix here, and then maybe Lauren Phillips of Centerville be second. Definitely Emily Collison's going to be our class winner here, Rockwell City. Here's Judge Matt Copeland.
Another nice class Angus females. The one that wins just does simply so from a structural integrity standpoint, especially when you get in behind her. Boy, she handles that hawk perfect and goes with some width of base to her. She has some width of chest, very good at the ground. A lot of look to this female, a lot of boldness of body and shape and width and dimension from nose to tail, and still flat-shouldered enough. Very high-quality individual. Heifer that comes in second, very nice silhouette. Maybe gives up a turn just a little bit up front. She wants to go a little east and west compared to our class winner. Maybe could use just a freckle of bone compared to her, but you really like the dynamics and the silhouette of this female. A lot of power, a lot of body, just minute things to put her in second. Heifer that comes next is one that's really burly and cowy and massive in her type and her kind. Just like to lean her up in terms of condition, make her fresher, and I think we get her up a spot or two. Just a little fat for us today. Heifer that comes next, boy, really nice silhouette to her. She's extremely long-bodied, long from her hooks to her pins. We just like to drop her in terms of body cavity and give her a little bit more swoop to that lower one-third of her belly. Heifer coming up next just gives up too much in terms of structural correctness off her front two to get her any higher today. Same with the heifer that comes next. She just doesn't move quite good enough off her hind two, but really like the power and body that she has and the stoutness. The heifers that round out the class, they got some rib and some volume to them. They have some good features to them. We just like to see them sounder and have a little bit more show ring pizzazz.
Nope, we're good there. Yep. Got to listen to Judge Matt give a talking to there in good class. And I kind of jumped up there in 409. That was 408. I kind of got overexcited and see a few names of some of these heifers I want to see here in 409. So getting ready to bring them out there should be a good class here.
There's a couple
another big class we're into now. This is the first class of our February heifers.
Man, they just keep coming. It's kind of like a clown car. Everyone that rolls around the corner is like, yeah, that one's pretty good. That one's pretty good. That one's.
I was
by
just
clown,
thinking
I don't mean funny. I
yeah.
just meant that, wow, they just come around that corner. It's
yeah.
like, well, that's a good one. That one's
they
good.
all
Oh, wait
look
a minute.
the
There's
same.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another really good class of these Angus out here. Boys are looking at them. They got their study pants on, looking good. Yeah, very good.
As we get out there, we was kind of just taking it in as he's going in there, and this is just, you know, I don't know if somebody's just, if you're just watching this show for just sheer appreciation of high quality, Tim, it's just awestruck to take in. Now, if you're trying to compete to be able to win a class in this show, I think it's going to be pretty humbling for you, because it's an accomplishment if you do, but a lot of good stuff going to be short. I think you made that comment. There's a lot of these heifers here going to win some jackpot shows, definitely win some Supremes at some county fairs.
Yeah, I just hope these young people aren't too down in the dirt, get their daubers down too much. They might be 6th, 7th, 8th. They might even be last. That one heifer, you know, we like big burly heifer, that kind of stuff. Love her for a cow and that kind of stuff. Maybe not quite elegant enough, I guess, as elite in her design.
Still good.
But man, she's a good cow. I mean,
yep.
You could breed her to broker and get a baldy and love it. I think.
Be
Don't you?
in love. I
You
think
be in
so.
love?
I think it'll work good.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm just telling you, that's the
Come
thing of
on.
it is. I just hope these.
Except at about, what is it, about 500 to throw, we may not be AIing to her, so.
And a man of your means, it's just 500. You know, just buy a canes of it. We'll
Yeah,
just
there
keep
you
buying
go.
canes of it.
Yeah.
You sell them good, man.
Hey,
That's a
it's
good.
still- it's
hey,
still- it's
but that's
still
another
work.
example. Good genetics are worth it.
They
you
are
know,
worth
you
it.
sit there
Yeah.
and yeah, it's like 500 to throw. But you know what though? If you make that bull for your operation or that heifer to send out to another one or that a new donor female, what's $500, man? That is nothing in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think the cattle business has been the slowest compared to the other species on trying to get valuation for the genetics you're pulling in and what they can get you.
Well, it has gotten better with the live auctions.tvs and the SCs and the stock show planets and some of that stuff. You know, way more of these genetic sales are coming on, and guys are buying the embryos and the semens and that type of stuff more, and it makes a big difference. But
Yep.
But yeah, it's. I had a friend of mine one time says, you know, he says, I asked him, he bought some high dollar ones and sells really, really high dollar ones. And I said, you know, do you ever get nervous about that? And he goes, you know, I've never given too much for a great one.
Never. You will never will, especially on a good female. And
Yeah.
you just, I mean, for a true great one, you'll never give too much.
He said,
Even as high as these things been bringing, you
Yeah.
won't give too much. Now, you can give too much for one that ain't going to work.
One that ain't very good, they're not worth anything.
Right.
But them ones are good, elite. Got the pedigree, got the genetics in them. I mean, that's like he said. He said, I've never given too much for a great one. So.
Yep.
How
Well,
would
but
you like to sort these three, old buddy?
Oh,
This
man,
man,
alive.
oh.
I just, each one that takes a lap around, I'm like, boy, I like her. She is good. And then you come back out and you're like, oh, my goodness, that one's good too.
That one's better.
That one's better. Yep.
And up here too, I don't even know who a 7.
Kelsey Ullman.
776 Ullman, yeah, is that right? Orange City.
Yep, I
And
think
we got
so.
Abby Talks out there.
198 right behind her. That heifer sure looks dang nice.
Yep.
And then the girl in the green shirt, can't tell, her hair's over top of her number. That's a good heifer.
Yeah, those are all good. And them young ladies can show one now. I mean, they're getting it done. And now I'm just snooping again a little bit. I'm wondering eyes. I'm kind of going over here. I don't even know what class they're on or division in the steer deal, but man, there is 2 steers that just pulled in there that are wolfy. Wow.
Yeah, I think they're in Division 2 for sure. So they're.
Holy smokes, them are nice. There's some nice steers.
Yeah, I couldn't help to notice there's a couple on that side too that were.
Yeah.
That were that black and white one and that black one that class before. Boy, them things had some get to them.
I'm not taking anything away from our steer
No.
commentators.
And our Angus heifers, they look good. There's a lot of debating going on right here in this class.
There's a lot of good stuff. There's pull.
Talax will
Abby's
be
gonna win
first
that
with
one.
24
Yep.
carat. That heifer looks incredible. We'll see what Dan's got to say about her.
Outstanding class of Angus females here. This young lady we start off with, I think when you study cattle from the ground up and from the nose back like Matt and I do, this one comes to the top of the class in terms of foot quality, soundness of structure, but yet still gives you that look from the side that you love. The amount of power and shape and dimension that female has from one end to the other is just impeccable within this lineup. She's an easy class winner for both Matt and I. The next heifer coming out, standing still, we love that female. When you get to analyzing that one in terms of her foot shape and design that she has under, she's got some issues for both of us that we'd like to see corrected there at the ground, but that's a heifer that's impeccable in her build. You'd like to change her a little bit there in that hock when she goes away from you. The next heifer coming out, the young lady's got one that's really nice in terms of her condition out here within this lineup, but we feel that she gets a little rounder in her hip, a little more narrow in her pin set, has just a nickel more brisket to her at this stage of the game than what the two in front of her do. The next heifer coming out, the young man's got a really nice heifer, just carrying a little more condition through that lower third than what we like to see to get her up within this class. The next heifer coming out here is another one of those really powerfully constructed females, just not good enough at the ground for us. We'd like to see these other heifers on down the line here balance up nicer to get up any higher. Thank you.
think timing to be good. I tell you that again, awesome class as he talked to her. You know, and they've got as we go to get these Angus heifers out here. You know, these guys been
different this year, kind of like the showdown system does there at the All Iowa Showdown. Right before the selection of the Supreme Champion animals, we will be auctioning off that backdrop. We'll be auctioning off the backdrop that all your champions are pictured in front of, and all that money goes, let me get the proper term here, goes into the Exhibitors for Education Fund. So that'll be something new to look forward to coming up here as we start to select your Supreme Champions. Now let me give you the placings for Class 408 Angus Heifers. First place, Emily Collison, Rockwell City. Second to Lauren Phillips, Centerville. Third to Alexa Jacoby of Calamus. Fourth to Erlen Wirt of Guthrie Center. Fifth to Tinley Oldham of Ida Grove. Sixth to Presley Fisher of Albia. Seventh to J.D. Brimmer of Osheten. Eighth to Laney Montag of Mallard. Ninth to Hudson Ross of Minden. And 10th to Hannah Peck of Birmingham. Placings for Class 409 Angus Heifers. First place, Abby Talak. Second, Carly Toby of Charlotte. Abby Talak of Prole. Third to Kelsey Ullman of Orange City. Fourth to Casey Krug of Sergeant Bluff. Fifth to Mariah Steinhardt of Mason City. Sixth to Danny Gravel of Anamosa. Seventh, Anna Paulsrud of Cherokee. Eighth to Paige Mesmore of Gladbrook. That was your placings for Class 409. 410 is currently in the ring.
Hang on here. We're just talking to, Jen is here. We're talking about we're selling, you know, you could tell us we're selling the backdrop, and what's it go for?
It goes for the Exhibitors for Education Fund, which sponsors the scholarships for the juniors.
And over on the steer side, placings for Class 505. First place,
Can they log on to
Arbor Lonigan of Corridon.
Can they bid live?
And bid there or call us?
They just need to call you two.
They can call us. We can be ringmen. We can handle your
We can
bids.
handle. Okay.
We'll get
All right.
you in when it gets that time. If you want to get part of it, reach out to us.
But in
Or
all
for
honesty,
a great
if
cause.
Yep, grandma and grandpa or somebody out there that has it, would like it, seriously reach out to the office. They could call the office, pull up the IJBBA, get a hold of the office, they can get a hold of us one way or another.
We're going to get it. Yep. And it's a
Kim Lewis probably can help.
quality backdrop from Midtech Designs.
Maytag Designs, yeah. I'm sure get a hold of Midtag Designs.
Iowa
They
and
probably get a
Iowa.
hold of us as well, right? So,
Anybody. Moral of the story, we'll take your money.
We'll take
And-
your money.
and
The
we'll-
kids will take your money.
yeah, it's all for the kids.
It's
And
all
it
for the
is
kids. It is. That's
Give
what-
the staff here and give Jenny and Kim and the other advisors and your volunteer help and your free help. Of course, Chad and I are getting paid a tremendous amount of money to be here, and that's so we're paid personalities. But beside that, takes a lot of volunteers, don't it, Jenny?
It does take a lot of volunteers. We couldn't do this show without all of our volunteers and all of our board members. We have over 50 active board members.
And it's a good experience. That's good for those kids. So if there's kids at home or little brothers and sisters, I say get on it. Yes. Do you have anything?
And I tell you, we got through a lot of cattle yesterday in efficient fashion. And we got through that. We're getting through them efficiently today, and that takes organization on a lot of parts and a lot of fronts. And that's a compliment. You know, we can talk about the judges doing a good job being efficient, but it also, them cattle, as soon as they're out, we got them coming in here this morning.
We do, absolutely. It takes everyone to make it happen. Yesterday was the earliest we've ever been done with the most head of cattle we've ever had.
That's awesome. So, did you get your reservations moved for the judges? That was your, when we left last night, that was your, oh my God, we're done early. How am I going to feed them? Did you get that taken care of?
We did get it taken
Yeah,
care of. The
figured you would.
7:30 standard dinner reservation was not acceptable, so they went to an hour later, and they got them in last night at 6 o'clock.
There you go. That's awesome.
I was going to say, them guys weren't grouchy this morning. If you wouldn't have fed them last night, they might have been grouchy this morning. They were still smiling.
Yeah, Dan said a good meal in the hot shower, and he was out like a baby. I asked Jill, I said, now, do you have to rock Dan to sleep like this? She goes, I don't do that.
I don't do that. He's on his own.
Okay. So, but no, they were good.
She did do good. I did catch her this morning adjusting his tie and make sure the clothes she set out for him did look nice.
And when I walked by, she goes, if you don't do it right, I'm going to hang you with that thing. That's what she No, she's doing. These guys are doing awesome. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for stopping by. Let us know.
Dan was telling the story about he did the Iowa State show this here spring, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they got there to the hotel, and he's going to get ready to get his stuff and said, where's my hanging garment bag at? He looked at Jill, and they looked around and said, it's sitting at home on the doorway out. We went out. So he left without there, so they went and did some clothes shopping to get ready to judge that show. It made an interesting story.
Right where you left it, Dan.
Off with very sound and very fluid. She has some width of chest and width of base when you get in behind her, and yet she's still good looking and attractive through that front 1/3, like the way their neck comes out, top side of her shoulder. Very nice balance from the top of her blades all the way to her tail head. And you get up on her, she has some back width. Love that round rib cage setting up high on top of her, big and bold out of her hip. Just a really nice way to start our class off. A nice big burly featured female that comes here in second, but one we'd like to just set her back into her knee and relax her in that shoulder, especially when you set her into motion compared to our class winner. That's the differences between them two, both very, very highly competitive females. The female that comes next just fits in third. She's very sound. She's very functional. Just gives up a little bit of cow power when you get in behind her, like to blow her apart in her pin width ever so slightly. But, boy, you love her athleticism, her depth of body, and her extra look that she gives you. Big, stout, burly one that comes here next. Very round and robust in her rib shape, but kind of coarse and open in her shoulder for us today. The heifers that round out the class are all got some volume and some muscle to them. They just need to be sounder off either end of their skeletal design for us today.
Get out here in this particular lineup, and these top three steers, we're going to be the first to tell you they don't match. There's no doubt about it. There's differences in types and kinds, but honestly, within this particular lineup, I think you have to put type and kind aside and start studying just actual true quality and just use the one that you're the most comfortable with. When we set that trio cattle in motion, there is absolutely no doubt that the best footed, best structured one is the black one. He's the best in terms of his spine. And then as you work your way from there, is he green in terms of his body? Does he need more chub? Absolutely. But with saying that, he's still really square and genuine to the ground. That leads us to believe with that guy's skeleton, with his dimension, we're gonna place a bet on this guy chubbing up and just coming in terms of his body, because we're that much more comfortable in terms of his structure. The white calf that comes into, in our opinion, the big decision becomes between 2 and 3. The calf in 2 is awesome in terms of his body shape, big back, big ended. Honestly, me and Chance were talking about that guy probably needs a foot trimming. His feet are getting a little long on him. It causes him to hit the dirt a shot awkward. But honestly, when you start studying that guy's angles and the fundamentals of his roundness of body and his muscle, he still has a lot of those basics. The best presented best put together one comes in third. Just in terms of his clip job, his fit job, young man does an extremely good job of getting him stuck. He gets every ounce of quality out of that calf that he can, and when he's parked right there, you take a picture and say, hey, I like that one. The issue is when you set that calf in motion, his shoulder is shoved further forward on his framework, and that causes his spine to come up. He falls out of balance as we get the cattle on the go there. We really appreciate that young man's hard work at home, though, getting that calf presented the way that he did. The black and white calf, we had him out here with that initial trio. You step in behind the cattle, he's the one that's the plainest in terms of his shape of that initial grouping, and then you study him at the ground. He's also the one that's the most unsecure there in terms of his hock, but he still works his way into fourth just in terms of his quality of look from the side. He has more body and true rib dimension than the young man's calf that's going to come next. Young man's calf on the upper part of his skeleton can move his way up the class. Big backs, really expressive over his loin there. A calf that we just got to have more dimension down through the lower third of his body, open him up in his sternum, and just give him more true, genuine width down low. The black calf comes next, is honestly one that, in our opinion, as you continue to feed him, he's only going to get better. That calf for us today read really flat right there in terms of his body shape and his rib shape right out the back side of his shoulder. He has a really nice hind leg design, really
I know we had Will Core talking them steers on that side. Hopefully he turned down and went. And, you know, hey, they just pulled one out of this draw after I've been looking at them for a while. It's taken some time.
That one's pretty good, too. I mean,
yeah.
Holy cow. It's been fun. We were just up here. We just had Dave Geyer just stop by, said hi. He was
proud of the fact he raised an Angus heifer.
Yep.
Collison's
Yep.
alpha heifer won her class.
Yep. He was proud of that. He should be. That was a tough class.
Yep.
This is a tough class. Holy
they're
cow,
good.
Chad. That is 6 just nitpicky
Very nice.
good
Yeah,
heifers.
right.
I
Yep.
mean,
So you got that one coming in here. This heifer here getting pulled out. Man, I tell you what, you guys watch her walk across. Ain't nothing wrong with this heifer right here. I thought she was very nice.
Wow.
She's going to go from Danbury Lily with a style heifer. Very nice heifer. She's got a good look. Lauren Phillips is still alive. Scout Locke is still alive. And then again, Katie Pryor, I'm thinking from Woodbrine. I believe that's her walking around there.
we were going back through that. I was kind of giving Karen the play-by-play. Scout yesterday had a good day.
She does. They do a good job. I mean, they do it
at
at
the main divisions yesterday.
the
She
main
had
Angus.
A nice day.
Had a main Angus
Yeah,
heifer.
that was a nice heifer.
This is a PVF Marvel. I wondered, actually their main Angus was a PVF heifer. Did you notice that yesterday on their main Angus? Come from Alan Miller. He does a little bit of them. I don't know, sell some of them embryos on them crosses maybe. I wonder if this one here, being a Marvel, is a PVF heifer too. We could probably pull up on a registration number here somewhere, but she's a nice, good heifer. She's 2. Yep. Is that the Pryor heifer? Looked like she just won.
Our attention, and you kind of just keep gravitating towards these kind when you're out here sorting. They're the ones that keep catching your eye, and you keep wanting to go back and look at them. And that young lady does an awesome job getting that one showed. But in terms of just quality, that heifer exudes quality within this class. She's the one that I think puts everything together in terms of the prettiest front end, the most level in her design, the hip structure, the feet that she has under her, the wheels that she has under when she gets out and goes. It's just an easy class winner for both of us. Young lady here in the next hole, she does an awesome job getting this heifer presented out here. She gets her full mileage out of that one. That's a nice heifer, but when she gets her park, she gives you a killer look from the side. side. She does an awesome job of getting them showed. Really good showmanship deal there. But that's a heifer that's big back, got a lot of good things to her, just logically falls into that second hole for us. The next heifer coming out is kind of the problem heifer for Matt and I. When you sit back and you analyze that one, she needs to be deeper in her flank. She needs to be a little more tucked up in that chest floor for us. But she's one that's really big backed and nice level hipped and level in her design. Just like to change that foot structure under that one as you sit there and you analyze them. Next heifer coming out is another one of them, a little hook-toed for both Matt and I, but a big-bodied, high-volume heifer. Just like to clean that one up at the ground. The next two heifers just need to balance up a little better. Thank you.
Tim, as we get through there, again, we haven't let up.
Red Silverado.
You guys don't want to hear about somebody going to get towed here. Your vehicle is safe at home if you're watching and listening. So what do we have here? Looks like we have 2 classes left here in our Angus show. We're into the January-born heifers to round out this class. 6 of them out here. With some stuff here, and we go through, and a lot of you guys follow along. I think one that had done well, I think we got a Udell Casino heifer there coming in. Sarah's got round up this class.
You know this, the first one in is Mariah Steinhardt, sorry, I'm from
Yes.
Mason City. This is about the 3rd or 4th one that she's brought in there. She's
quality.
got a nice lineup of Angus.
heifers.
I don't know if she had some yesterday of other breeds, but I know this is like the 3rd or 4th Angus heifer she's had today, and I mean,
quality.
They've all been good, or way above average anyway.
Yeah, way above average. Yeah, I'd say if you're hanging in the thick of things here, you're well above average. We've got, you're not going to see it on your side unless he comes over here. We got a calf slipped his halter. That has no halter on. They went up there and looks like the dad or somebody
they roped him right off the get-go.
Went and grabbed him. Well, nothing to it. It's pretty uneventful, but it could have been interesting. But we bring them cattle around here. Your Januaries are on the Angus side. You know, there are not as many of them again, but a good stout set. We got a Primo Hoover, no doubt. We haven't seen that before. And then a fair and square and a casino.
Madison Collison of Rockwell City. Second to Clara Sinclair of Williamsburg. Third, Addison Bjork of Adel. Fourth to Riley Tim of Guernsey. Fifth to Tatum Oldham of Ida Grove. Sixth to Bryn Nickel of Clearfield. Seventh to Jackson Heindel of Columbus Junction. And eighth to Alexis Francie of New London. Placings for Class 411 Angus Heifers. First place, Katie Pryor Woodbine. Second to Scout Locke of Packwood. Third to Lauren Phillips of Centerville. Fourth to Lily Pitham of Danbury. Fifth to Darby Moore of Earlham. And sixth to Anna Polsrud of Cherokee. Currently in the ring, Class 412 Angus Heifers.
Boy, this one hits the ring and she commands your attention just in terms of her foot integrity, her structural integrity, and yet her mass and her volume and her rib and her stoutness, her overall look and design. Very, very high quality female. The female that comes in second, young lady, you just run into one that's just very unique. You have a very nice female, a lot of neat features. We just need a few more wow factors to run today. But like your heifer's body and power and style, just need a little bit more of her. Heifer that comes in next is one that just simply gets too steep and straight in her shoulder for us. Love the body that she has, like the stoutness that she has, like the look that she has, just like to make her sounder. 3 heifers that round out the class. Good quality cattle. They just need to be better footed and better structured.
Matt, New Mexico is a short man of a few words, but what he says, he kept his comments on that class one are pretty short and sweet. He definitely liked her.
Oh,
liked
that
her,
thing looked
but
incredible.
she
I
looked
think he just,
incredible.
he went off about how her foot is so good and her structure, and he kind of left it that almost like maybe talk about her again. But, you know, we got one more class, and I get to cart in front of a horse. We may see our champion Angus Heifer here in this class, too.
Yeah.
Hang on, we'll get Brad get the
Sullivan Dunlap, second to Mariah Steenhard of Mason City, third Elisa Teat of Wacoma, fourth to Trent Dudemeyer of Ryan, and fifth to Levi Evans of Humiston, and sixth to Hallie Brown of Winterset. Class that was placings for class 412, 413 in the ring.
Oh, I take it back. I messed up. I guess 2 classes. I thought that was 2 classes of 4. I switched it over. We got 2 classes of 2 here. Maddie Wellman and Avery Monson with a money earned and a natural law heifer. These are 2. This is an October and November heifer as they come back around. Avery there is the one there in the front. And he's got the October and nope, he's got the November. Maddie's got the October. I'll give them a quick look over. And congratulations, Maddie gets our class winner.
Nice pair of fall heifers here in the Angus show, but I think when you sit back and you analyze these, there's one that's a clear winner in this class. Really long spine, good hipped individual, one that you love the extension and the shoulder design that this heifer has there in the front third. But you set her into motion, she gets out and goes on big squishy feet and goes around the ring just awesome. I love the way that one gets out and goes. The next heifer here, high quality heifer, one that I'd just like to change in terms of her hawk design. She wants to hawk in when you set her into motion, but a good bodied individual, going to make a nice cow for that young man.
I will try and periodically keep reminding you as we get a wave of new people through, but remember, end of the day criteria here, 30 minutes after the last class is selected, whichever side it is, 30 minutes after, we will start our Supreme Drive. This year the steers started, finished with the heifers. This year the steers go first, 30 minutes after the last class is selected, or division actually.
So this is our last class of Angus heifers on this side here. And we've got a pair of September heifers out here, a Primo versus a Blacklist as they come out here. Yeah.
Holster girl and the Jensen boy, Kale.
2 nice big fresh Septembers as far as that goes.
Kale, Cody Jensen, they show a lot of them falls.
They do.
We've had good luck with them. They,
you know, and I commented too yesterday, I think, you know, I'm still surprised we don't have more falls showing than we do.
Yeah.
You're starting to see guys with having some fall sales coming up and selling some falls. I think they work well.
Well, there's some advantages to them. I mean,
yep. They're rolling through. I think they're going to steal the microphone before the steer
Kale
side.
wins this one. Jensen's first.
Another nice pair of females here. One that wins the class just does so in terms of quality and cow power, width and dimension and body, and she's still fresh in her type and kind, gets around the ring relatively free and easy. The heifer that comes in second, a good big stout broody kind of a female, just needs to hook up a little better out of her front end, give her a little bit more show ring pizzazz, maybe a little bit more bone and footwork underneath her compared to our class winner, but very, very high quality. Congratulations to you young people.
Last class before Division II of the crossbreds, young man in the blue shirt, he came to play. There's no doubt about it. calf is high quality, highly presented, one that I guess separated himself just in the simple fact of he has the muscle, the bone, the hair, but he ties it all together with a very attractive, smooth package, very high quality one to get us started. Young man here in 2, from his shoulder back, he rivals that one just in terms of having muscle and true dimension, really nice in terms of his structure. He maybe comes a shot plainer there in terms of his head shape, in terms of his jaw. Maybe like to see him just a shot more opened up right there in his forerib, have a shot more just bloom and condition to his body, but he still was the second best option. Calf in 3, big, burly, definitely one that has just a punch and the muscle that we're looking for. For us, he came in a shot coarser of a package, maybe like to just blend his shoulder and his forerib, maybe like to just tone him down ever so slightly in terms of his joints, but definitely one that definitely has a very bright future. For us, the closest decision became between 4 and 5, and honestly, me and Chance talked about how it's a toss-up.
As we go, we're bringing in our class winners here, Tim.
Oh, man,
what a set.
You're listening to Will talk about a really good class of steers over there. Again, the quality's there, but I mean, I'm telling you what now, Chad and I both sat up here on the edge of our chairs, getting ready to watch this champion Angus run here, and I mean now, there is not a slouch in this one. These ones don't suck. These are nice cattle.
We could go through this, and our first one's at Insight. Our class winner in the second class is a Stag Good Times. Then we get into a Gamble's Hot Rod to be out of the third class. Collison Alpha, the Pryor boy with the cowboy hat on, wherever he's at.
Shelby's.
Yep.
Shelby Greiman wants 405 with a Greiman Focus 86.
Yeah, we forgot Dignity Heifer of Thorson's out of 404.
Oh, my bad.
Yep, Focus there. 406 is Thorson again with another Dignity Heifer.
407 will be Sloan Curtin.
They 24 carat. They talked her really well too, just like I thought the Thorson Heifer before. I thought talked her a little better. Emily Collison with that Alpha. That's the one Dave Geyer bred and raised.
409 is Abby Talak's got one in there.
24 carat.
Another
They
24
talked
carat.
her really well.
She's a nice heifer. Madison
Madison, that's a heifer you like, Tim,
yeah,
really
like
well.
You
liked her good. She's a follow me. She looked good. Pryor had a 24 carat.
Sarah Sullivan's got the next one out of 412.
Sarah, I like that one really well.
I think that's the only casino that's out here, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
That one's a dang
She
good
does
one.
have, for a casino, has a different look. Not as sharp, maybe necked as some, but boy, body just incredible.
Big body, that one's got feet on it like a
incredible.
Big Clydesdale.
Maddie Wellman had a Bar EL Natural Law.
And then Cale Jansen won 414 with a blacklist. So yeah, a lot of sires represented out here, Chad. Now I'm telling you what. Now this is, again, we said yesterday. I think you heard us say it. I mean, you can get nitpicky, and obviously you have to. As the judges, Matt and Dan, got picky on some of those cattle, and they should, and they got to because they're this good. But I mean, these ones are. We said quality wins. Again, I think there is quality off the universe, off the charts out here because, I mean, they're just good cattle.
I think in what you'd say, I mean, for as good as they are to find your type, we should have a top 5 heifer out here.
Oh, absolutely.
May have a heifer in contention to win the show. There's no doubt about that. But I think there's some of them ones from yesterday. But you could easily find exactly what you're looking for with the lineup of diversity we've had out here. There are differences, but they're good. They're high quality.
Yeah, high quality. There's some really, really, really sharp-fronted ones that are sound and good. I will say one thing. I do think these guys, they said it several times, start at the ground and work their way up. And I really, from up here where we're looking, I mean, their feet all appear to go the right direction. They all look good. They're big bone. They all look incredibly sound. But there's some that are sharper fronted. There's some that are bigger bodied and bigger bellied, bigger bone, bigger footed, different combinations of those. So I think when it gets right down to it, again, get right down to it. As judges, Dan and Matt, they should be able to find their type, the kind that they really like out here in this
Yeah,
drive.
I think so. I sure think so.
I know there's two out here that I kind of gravitate to. Again, I won't say yes.
Boy, you are hard to please if there's just two you
Well,
gravitate
no.
to in this lineup. My gosh.
They're all good, man. I'm telling you, I'm not saying that.
There is some stuff that is just nice.
But there's a couple there that you just kind of get your attention a little more, maybe. Okay, that's kind of what I was saying. So yesterday when I had those funny feelings, I kind of had I got one division right on. I hit it, spot up. And the next time I had that funny feeling, I swung and missed. So I totally missed that. So I will wait and show my hand if I win. If I'm right. No.
If you're
if
good.
If I'm correct, to follow these guys. But again, it's pretty easy to follow these guys. They've been very concise and precise in their statements. There has not been. Last night when they left, they were laughing and tee-heeing and smiling together, and they came in this morning and they sure looked like they were still laughing and teeing, having a good time. I think they've had a good time together and are appreciating the conversation and each other's comments.
Yeah, when you bring the champion out of this Angus division, this supreme lineup, you got to make sure you guys want to tune in and tell whoever wants to see quality. This lineup's going to be amazing when they get their champion coming out of here.
And I think Hook said they're doing the steers first.
Steers first, 30 minutes after we finish.
Yep, and then as soon as that's done, then there'll be the heifers. So Chad and I'll hang around. We're going to be here to the bitter end. I know that because I've been here for this thing. And again, thanks again, Chad, for the call and the invite to come and hang out with you. I mean, this has been an absolute thrill and a highlight. We still got the commercials to go, so we're not done. I don't mean that, but I mean to be able to sit here and watch these good kids show these good cattle. It's old guys like you and I that have spent a lot of years and a lot of miles doing this kind of stuff. This is fun. This is fun.
And to the folks, if you're a breeder of these things and you're tuned in and watching, I don't know unless you've tried to do it to make it this good. They're hard. They're hard to make these things this good. Let alone feed them and make them look good. I'm just talking about the years of dedication genetically to breed them cattle, to have them and get them into these kind of homes, and it's just amazing.
We were talking about that yesterday. I don't care how you do it. I've talked to a lot of good, breeders and geneticists, and the people you hang out with and I hang out with. There's a lot of smart people that we know. I mean, I think you're a credible talent on breeding them and that kind of stuff. You can line it up. There's still some luck involved.
Oh yeah.
And you got to have some stones and some.
Well, and you just look at the difference of age and maturity. Them younger heifers versus them big ones. There's as much quality down there.
Oh, them
down the line like that Forsen heifer down in there that is way good. That maybe isn't. Is ready to compete with them ones.
Heifer, the cowboy and the
cowboy.
That's a nice.
Very good heifer.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And you come back around here and, maybe they do have their day today, maybe they don't, but, there's a day that one could win a major show. And they've proven in Iowa to be national contender in cattle.
I'd almost, there's going to be several just in this lineup and probably seconds within these ones that are going to win some national shows or some definitely regional shows. I mean, I'm guaranteeing now these kids can get it done.
We've got Dr. Parker Henley at Oklahoma State's asking what's the long-necked one in the corner, and I kind of looked at Tim there. I'm not sure which one he's talking about. Collisons have a pair out here of really nice ones, and we'd have to be back here in this corner. That's one of the Collisons there. Yeah,
I think
that's that one you liked really well in class.
I did. Yep.
Yes,
I think that
she's a Gateway Follow Me. Madison Collison has. Very, very nice heifer. And right behind her is a Pryor heifer, 24 carat into the front of them.
So
is that a Talac girl? Yes, Talac would be to the front of them on the back side there, kind of blended in.
So Dr. Henley, I'm just letting you know if you're still listening. Well, T-Bone's going to be headed back to college here pretty quick, so he'll be headed back here pretty quick, I promise.
Headed south. They have a lot of debate on here. There's a lot of things to talk about.
I'd be talking with my hands right now. I would be giving it away because I'd be pointing toward the direction which one I'm thinking about. These guys are pretty stone-faced out here talking about it.
Right.
I mean, this is one of these deals. This is a no-lose. As a
Yeah.
judge, you get
Yeah.
there, you can just throw a dart, and that one's going to be good enough.
Should be
in
good.
all honesty.
You know, there you come back in there, too, that, you know, Andy talked about the curtain heifer. They talked her so good in class.
Oh.
She's coming out on a circle here right now. You know, that's an incredible, incredible heifer herself. You know, the Thorson, there's another second Thorson heifer right to the front of her. She is nice. Just an impressive lineup. My hat's off to the Angus breeders here in the state of Iowa, and Angus breeders across the country could bring us this kind of genetics and a lot of different sires.
So
Not strictly one sire dominated.
no, yeah, it's been a
You
bunch
know,
of
we've
different
got
ones.
we've got a lot of between Dignity, Casino, 24 Karat, Follow Me.
Yeah.
You know, just a lot of differences.
So you reckon the Collison Show Barn, you reckon them girls arm wrestle or rock, paper, scissors, see who gets to rinse first? I mean, they got a barn full of good ones.
They do have a barn
You
full.
think they rotate on who gets to rinse first
Yeah.
or
One thing about it, them things don't look to me like them girls are afraid of working either.
you think?
I
Man, they
think
never.
so.
They are.
Tim's got a house full of girls there, but they'll jump right in and get after it like about anybody. It looks
I
to
was
me
gonna
like.
say, yeah, I'd put them young ladies up against about any show barn in Iowa. I mean, they
good
get
at
up
it,
and
yeah.
get after it. That is for sure. Well, our guys, they're not waiting on the mic. They are
There's Simon's
still
brother
talking
Reese
about it.
Thorson there, kind of got the screen on, looking at there, coming around. That's one of their 2 class winners.
Well, and one we've kind of glossed
Boy,
over, and she won her class as the Gryman heifer.
Oh, Gryman Focus heifer. Yeah, she
Yes,
was good too.
She was
yeah.
a good heifer. I mean,
Man,
we haven't
There
not
wasn't a
forgot
poor one
about
in
it.
the class
No.
winners. I mean, it's
No.
good. Them guys did a good job of sorting, finding quality, and getting them right to the top. It don't look to me like they got any closer to their decision the way they're talking.
Well, they've gone a full circle now, so they've kind of done a pirouette out there. They started with Copeland on the east side. Now he's on the west side. Maybe they're just turning around so they can get the good
Yeah.
views of him, I guess.
Yeah.
And again, I know you can jump back and forth and go to the steer show and look at that, but we're listening to Judge Will Core talk on the steers right now on this side. And holy cow, another good class of steers, Chad. Holy cow. And I know the top 5. I have no insight of a top 8, you know, whatever they look at. But I'm here to tell you now that I would think whichever Angus heifer is, this will be in. Here comes our Judge Dan.
Well, that took a little while for Matt and I to discuss all these, and then old Will over there gets on the mic, and he has to speak for a little longer than most of us do. But what a lineup of Angus females out here, from our first class winner all the way to the last one. I think we've got animals that are extremely high quality, animals that have a bright future in front of them, ones that are there today. Cattle that definitely put everything together in an industry acceptable package, whether it's the real world that Matt and I come from or the show world. You know, it's pleasing for us to see a set of cattle with structure as good as they are. The lineup of these ones that we've got back out here in terms of foot quality and design. I think this is quite the lineup of females. We think that there's one that really puts everything together in that ultimate package, and we're going to go out here and pick your champion in reserve. But congratulations to these Angus exhibitors for an incredible lineup of females.
What are you thinking, Tim? We'll let them pick it, I guess, and we'll tell them how good a job they did.
Wanted to take a second and wait for Danny to
Now
get
they're
done
smiling.
over there, and because this young lady.
Yeah, Heather's still debating it.
All right, there's a knuckle bump. Here we go. You called her, man. There's Sloan Curtin. How about that one, huh?
It's a good heifer.
I mean, that's a way nice heifer. I'm not gonna say that's the one I had, but that was in my short rows. That was in the definite possibility list.
Yeah, she was in that. Yeah, I mean, they talked her so good
Well,
when
that
they
was,
did in class.
and that was a good class. They had the little
That Kendall Bruns brings hers
the
in
little
here.
Burns girl was coming in there. I mean, and that's a
Burns heifer.
And that's she's wolfy. I mean, that's
she's wolfy. Yeah, she was ready.
She's
this
ready.
One's ready.
There's a couple more in contention now. Looks like be the
Sullivan.
casino, Sarah Sullivan's casino.
Yep. Nice pair of heifers that'll be in contention.
The 507 class, Keaton Kralik from Creston. Once again, your champion Division II crossbred steer, Harbor Lonigan of Corydon. Second, Keaton Kralik of Creston. And let me give you placings for that last class. First place, your eventual reserve champion, Keaton Kralik. Second, to Caden Schultz of Russell. Third, to Hadley Roseboom of Haywarden. Fourth, to Jacob Rinkum of Mobile. Fifth, to Lila Brooks of Farragut. Sixth, to Alex Verplug of Pella. Seventh, to Kaya Robertson of Fairfield. Eighth, to Allison Boyle of St. Charles. And ninth, to Reeve Wagner of Hampton.
They're taking just a little second here to kind of rearrange, and the judges slept out for a minute. Chad and I are going to get up and stretch. We'll be right back.
Over on the Angus side, Sloan Curtin. Sloan Curtin exhibits your 2023 Iowa Beef Expo champion. Angus Reserve going to Sarah Sullivan of Dunlap, Iowa. Once again, very tough Angus division there. Sloan Curtin winning it. Sarah Sullivan Reserve. And I do need to make an announcement. First time, actually, this whole expo. If you are not one of the fitters there with the heifers, especially on the heifer side, we got really jammed up there, having trouble getting the cattle lined up. So please do not mill around in there unless you're a fitter or an exhibitor or, just an immediate family there with those. We need to keep it as open as we possibly can on both sides, actually. So thank you for your cooperation. Finishing up the placings over on the heifer side. First place 413, Maddie Wellman of Donaldson. Second to Avery Momsen of Goose Lake. And class 414 Angus heifers, first place Cale Jensen, Plainfield. Second to Jillian Paulsrud of Cherokee. We will now be starting on your commercial heifers.
Well, we got Lil May Hef here to start off our commercial division, and well, she's a nice heifer. She's very sound and functional, has a nice look to her, just needs a little more time on feed, and being a May, that's okay. I think she'll get there in time. Congratulations, young lady, very nice female.
Starting off the commercial heifer side, class 415, single entry, Isabella Johnson, center point, winning that class. Let me remind everybody one more time, new this year, similar to what we do there at the All-Iowa Showdown. Right before we start your Supreme selections, we will be auctioneering off the banner that young man is standing in front of right now. All your photos of champions are taken in front of, and gives you exhibited there. You don't have to be a champion, but going to auction off that backdrop as a fundraiser for the Exhibitors for Education Fund, coming right up.
Okay, they slipped in on me here. I was returning a couple phone calls and taking care of a little business. Got that done, and so now we're into our commercial heifers. Starting off class of 4, so we won't have quite as much information on some of these. There's still some. This will be a little of everything. There's Man Among Boys, there's a Legacy of Sundance, there's Primos, Follow Me's, so it'd be kind of fun to see how this sorts out. We're on 415, class of 4 heifers out here. I see there was a single entry in the other one, so they may be Isabel Johnson's little 500-pounder might have won the first class by herself. So.
Here in our lightweight class, you just go right here, buddy. Lightweight classic commercial heifers. We're going to start off with the young man here with the smoky heifer. I guess Matt and I see that one having the most future within this class. Really well balanced. Young man's doing an awesome job of getting her showed out here. We just see that one in terms of growth indicators showing us the most future on down the road. The black baldy coming out next, young man's has another one of those, a big stretchy kind of lightweight heifer out here. You'd like to see her a little deeper in the center part of her body, but that's one that's really good in her structure, and he's doing a nice job with that project. The next heifer coming out next, one that Matt and I both read, is just a little quicker type female. She's not going to get real big in her overall stature. We'd like to change her in that structure. The red Angus appearing female coming out next just needs to be a little stouter bone, a little better footed.
Okay, just finished up with class 415. 2, 4, 6, 8. Looks like we got 10 coming in this next drive. It'll be a big class. We'll get into some cattle that got a little more weight to them. A little further down the line, they are all broken by weight. So there'll be every color and size and shape within these drives when we get out here right now. So this one coming in, we've got a couple data banks. We've got a Primo, a Follow Me, Turning Point. That'd be the Turning Point for Kate's and Conley's. There's a Conley Express. I remember that Express bull. I believe he was reserved in Fort Worth as a calf when I was down there and looked at him. I thought that was maybe one of the best Angus bulls I had ever seen. I mean, he was a cool-made rascal.
Get this final duo of them as we kind of sorted them down here to the top end.
Really cool. So anyway, this will be a little time to wade through these and get through. There's another big class, and all these classes of commercials are big. Looks like they kind of just counted 10 and made a cut. Count 10 and made a cut. I mean, there's some natural breaks. 750. This class is 702 to 744. The next class is 756 to 798. So they've got some rhyme or reason within them. But having said that, though, it looks like they kind of counted and do that. So we'll let Matt and Dan kind of sort through these a little bit. And as we get down a little closer to the final run, we'll chime in.
Nines, but here's the issue. It's all up front in terms of his shoulder design for us personally. Calf kind of sets a shot wider there in terms of the point of his shoulder, kind of wants to turn those front two out, and it just kind of throws him out of balance there as you ask the cattle to go. Really just like to redesign that one in his knee, but like I said, a lot of quality in that one just in terms of his hip, hind leg, and body shape. The calf in 4, as you back off of him, if you're ringside and you look at him, you say, hey guys, why isn't that one further up? Because he paints an awesome picture from the side, really nice in his lines and his balance. I challenge you to go get on top of that one. He was the flattest of the initial cattle in terms of the amount of shape and muscle that he had out the backside of his shoulder. The calf that the young lady has here is an absolute meat wagon. I mean, he is opened up. He's almost as wide as he is tall. You know, I mean, that guy has a great deal of product to him. But with that being said, that was also his undoing for us. We ask ourselves, how big is he going to get? You know, where is his end point? What's his market weight going to be? You know, I guess that calf hit us as pretty early maturing, and we'd like to see just more length, more growth, and just a shot more scale. The black and white calf has exactly that. He's longer bodied, longer necked, and better looking, but that calf, he needs to be better off of his rear too. Just got a shot more uncoordinated and a shot straighter there in his hock. The young man's black calf, very basic in his build, ties everything together, but I guess comes to us in just a shot more generic type of a package, a little plainer, a little frailer than the cattle that go right ahead of him. The white flank steer that the young lady's leaving the ring with now really opened up in terms of the amount of muscle that he has, just not good enough in his structure. And then the white steer is one that I guess we just thought was the flattest in terms of his shape, just needed more punch, needed more body. Certainly a very, very nice class of them there, very interesting to break down and talk about.
Tim, they're working their way down here on these this class of commercial heifers. Down to 3, down to 2, down to 1.
Got her done.
Yep. Dan Harker, he goes through it. He'll go in order where they're at, depending on where there is. Or he doesn't go like 3-2 and then back to 1.
Another nice class of commercial females. The white-bellied heifer is one that just simply rises to the top because she's the most fault-free in this lineup, and yet she's very high quality to go with it. Very attractive through that front 1/3. Very sound off either end of her skeletal design. She's the longest hip female out here. That's the longest spine. Good body, good muscle shape. Nice, very attractive class winner. Female that comes in second, very nice, very complete kind of a female. She just gets a little shorter and rounder from her hooks to her pins compared to our class winner, just like the elevator right there. We do that, she'd move up a spot. Very nice female. Heifer that comes next is one that's very long-fronted, very fresh in terms of her condition. Just wants to get up in the top part of her spine, get a little base narrow. When you get in behind her, she wants to scissor step, get her any higher. Female that comes next, a bold body kind of a female. Just wants to be just a little bit narrow and plainer throughout her whole body, tight and kind, just like stouting her up. Heifer that comes next, one that's got a nice look to her, very sound and functional. She just needs to be better out of her shoulder and out of her heart to her flank. Heifer that comes next, one nice big burly kind of a female, just a little plain through her front 1/3. Heifers that round out the class all have some quality. They just need to either be stouter, better bodied, or better structured for us.
Ain't got her, Coach.
So what do we got, Tim?
Copeland.
Yep, you bet. He did good. We got one more class here. We got our first division of the commercial heifers.
I
this
believe
class and
so.
division.
Yep.
Be 4 in that 4 classes out there in a little bit. But we got a big class to work through here first. Try not to get the cart in front of the horse, but
These heifers are 756 to 798, be 417. Last
Should be
class
10
of
of
the
them.
first division, right?
yep, last class first division should be 10 of them.
Yep. And again, this is just kind of building up on this commercial deal. And nothing against these, I'm going to call them younger heifers, but lighter weight heifers because, you know, they're just need some more time. They're a different age. They're a different whatever, you know, so they're going to come on down the road. But, I mean, this thing, the last class heated up. This class is going to get good, and I'd say these from these next 6 or 7 classes will be way, way good. I think there's going to be some differences in them. I imagine our weights are going to get pretty tight.
I'd about have to be pretty tight, I'd say.
Class 18 is about 22 pounds.
20 pounds, yeah. 30 pounds.
Next class was 30 pounds.
30 pounds.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's 122 pounds. There's 50.
But I tell you what, we start that Division 3 at 900 pounds. These things are getting bigger than Wolfie in a hurry.
Got some.
Got a 1,440 pounder.
I was gonna say, yeah, that one's probably got a little age on her. You reckon?
She is a round table from Claire Sinclair. I bet you she might have a white brand on her side that says EX too.
Oh yeah.
Should we start the speculation of why she's in the commercials? We'll leave that
Catch
one
up over on
alone.
the heifer side here. Class 416 placings: first place Parker Martin Springville, second to Briley Engelken of Epworth, third to Riley Wyrick of Boone, and fourth to Olivia Carter of Audubon. Placings for class 417 commercial heifers: first place Drew McCullough, Allerton, Iowa, second to Elizabeth Shable, Storm Lake, third Skylar Coffey of Garden Grove, fourth to Tristan Lindsay of Masonville, fifth to Abigail Miller of Winfield, sixth to Olivia Stratton of Homestead, seventh to Maverick Wolf of Donahue, eighth to Lexi Knapp, Bloomfield, ninth to Riley Quaid of Charles City, and 10th to Olivia Prunty of Runnels. That was placings for class 417, 418 currently in the ring. Over on the steer side, placings for Class 508 crossbred steers. First place, Carter Firk of Havelock. Second to Blaine Beatty of Russell. Third to Taylor Holverson of Sioux Center. Fourth to J.C. Mullen of Grettinger. Fifth to Nadine Klafke of Alden. Sixth to Jack Walter of Creston. Seventh to Caleb Crock of Mechanicsville. Eighth to Riley Engelken of Epworth. Ninth to Katie Miller of Winfield. And a
Is our fan base starting to give us a hard time, Tim? They wanted to pay attention where we're getting to.
My fan base at home, shout out to Karen. Thank you for holding down the fort, and she has us liveauctions.tv on the TV. She's got it on her computer and her phone, so when she's checking cows, she's listening. So she just gave me, where are you guys at? So while we were ordering lunch is what we were
lunch,
doing.
yeah, high priority for
Kim Lewis came up here and said, what do you guys want for lunch? And so
we were debating.
Two fat old farts, we decided we had to stop and order our lunch.
That's important. We have priorities we have what's important to us.
So we were sitting there, so Karen wanted to know where we went, what we were doing. So that's kind of what we were doing. This is a big class of commercial heifers. There's 10 of them out here. There are a lot of differences. We were going to kind of come back online and start talking when we kind of get down to the top 4 or 5, which thanks for Karen's insightfulness. We're down to the top, I was going to say 4, but I believe we're still at 5. So it's good.
I think we're 4.
Are we 4? That one come in? There. Okay, sorry.
Yep, that's all right.
It's hard to know.
We'll slide this time.
It's hard to know which one.
Oh, this young. No, you were right. The little fella, he coming back in line.
I didn't see him, so I was wrong.
Maybe he's hide and seek. He just hid over in the corner while they pulled the bottom ones off.
Oh no.
He tried.
He went over and said, "I'll come back, see if I can slide back in here." So
he's like, "Nope." And he got caught.
That happens. Down to 3. So you got to, it's kind of who do you watch on the judges. They kind of talk a little bit, and then one picks one, and one time it's Dan, one time it's Matt. They kind of go back and forth. So
one guy go one way, one guy the other guy.
There we go.
1. They got a class winner, young lady in the far end.
Yep.
Nice heifer. Congratulations to her.
That is a nice heifer.
In terms of design and quality, she comes to the top of this class quite easily for Matt and I. She's one that's good in her angles, good in her shoulder. You like the spine that one has in her, good in her hip. I think that's just a logical class winner here to start off with. Really fancy made heifer here in the second hole, maybe just a nickel more shotgun bellied than what the one is in front of her, but that's one that's got a lot of good things to her. Big bone, good footed, sound enough when you set her into motion, gives you a nice look from the side. Just needs a nickel more rib there in the center part of her body. The cream colored heifer coming out next. Young man's got one that's a really nice heifer. Maybe not as presented as nice some of them that we've seen today, but ones when you study that one in terms of structural and functionality, she goes right in there pretty easy in this class right there for us. The next heifer, very highly presented heifer, but when we see that one out here on the move, she makes us struggle a little bit off those rear 2. We'd like to change her as she gets out and goes and give her a little bit more flex and movement there. Young man coming out next, another nice heifer. I think's got a bright future in front of her. Just need to free her up off those rear 2. Kind of this the next heifer coming out here, really deep body, good looking type female. Another one of those you just like to change the way she gets off those rear 2. The rest of the heifers coming out, we just read those as being a little quicker in their overall type and kind of maturity pattern.
Judge Dan Harker giving good descriptions on that class here. Now we're getting ready. We'll come right back around and bring 4 class winners out here to pick our first division winner.
Yep.
In our crossbred commercial show. And you know, one thing about Iowa, boy, we've always had strength in the commercial show.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of changed a little bit, but there was a stretch in there that if you're winning the show, you had to win the commercials.
There was a big time in there. Yeah,
big time in there.
There was a time in there. Yeah, the champion went through the commercials, and probably the champion and reserve or first and 3, or that probably the 2 out of the top 5.
Yeah.
A lot of times first and second, but 2 were in the top 5. And now the breed thing is just caught up and gotten
right.
And I'm going to say better, I guess, for lack of better words, but I mean it's kind of gotten there. And now what the commercials are is if you've got a whatever, insert breed, an Angus as an example. As good as that Angus division was, if you've got a dang good Angus and you're in Sloan Curtin's camp, or not camp, but class, or
Right.
the Collisons or Sarah Sullivan's, it's like, well, why would I want to go in there and get my ass whooped on? Why wouldn't I
You
maybe
do.
take
Yeah, right.
I'll weigh her up and run her in the commercial if you got a good enough one there. You know,
She might be a little more moderate size, a little more powerful. For
Yeah,
that, not
yep,
fit in there, but
yep.
she looks good on this side.
and whether it's a key or a main, the mains was a big Foundation Scimitars. You know, Foundation Scimitar, as good as that division was.
It was very stout.
If you got one that you think is way nice, but maybe not quite there yet, and maybe it's just a little moderate, you know, maybe you weigh her up and take her into the commercial.
Yep.
This is going to be a nice class in the first division.
Yep.
Of
You know
commercial
another
heifers.
reason why I think we have in Iowa too some of the show commercials. It may have had a ball game yesterday. Might have had a sporting
Yeah.
event on Saturday, so they pick a division that fits them
Might have
for their schedule.
might had a wrestler.
Had a wrestler, yes.
had a-
Still wanted to participate in the show. And
Yep, had
couldn't
a
be there before.
I know we have a couple families at home from Creston that are big wrestlers. You know, they're into it. And their son made it this year, and I think they just didn't come at all
Sure,
this year.
right.
But I know
Yep.
in the past they've done on Sundays. They've taken their heifers and shown them commercial, and they usually have crossbred steers,
Yep.
just so they can come and compete and do both things that they
Yep.
like. And
Well, we
sure,
get out here in our first division of commercial heifers. Boy, a nice division. You folks ringside give these youngsters a nice round of applause. Outstanding lineup of females. As we get in this commercial division, we're going to get all different types and flavors and kinds, and that's evident out here, and that's okay because that's what the commercial heifer is about. But there's two heifers out here that Dan and I think have the most cow potential. They're the soundest. They're the best looking. Have the most maternal to them. They're the two that fit us the best. We'll show you our two favorites. Again, congratulations on a great Division I.
Looks to me like we got Maggie Carr Melrose as our champion Division I, and Drew McCullough Allerton won the class before that as our reserve Division I. So congratulations to those. As they talked about, very maternal, good set. Good way to start off our commercial division with two nice heifers. Compliments those guys. So
And we're coming around, coming back in here. We'll get started. Those will be exiting. We're going to get about 10, I think. 9, I guess. Coming in, be Class 1, Division 2 commercial heifers. Again, this will be pretty competitive, pretty wolfy, I would think, once they get started on it. Yep, 276, Maggie Carr.
just as you talked, we've got a relentless lover boy, good as it gets, went it out. Amazing Grace. We got the horn bull coming out there, herd bull. I don't know what his name is. Didn't give him a name, poor guy. He just herd bull.
I think that, well, that's, yeah.
Primo, and here I am. So, you know, a little bit of diversity again, too, in this class. Just from breed compositions off of the sires.
Well, and I think that, I'm assuming a herd bull is their cleanup bull, would be my guess.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of guys, there's a lot of.
Alrighty, a
herds
little
out
bit
here
of a
that have good
rodeo
bulls.
here on the steer side, and you know.
We're good.
There's a lot of breeds out here, a lot of farms, a lot of ranchers that have really good cleanup bulls. Buy these bulls, you know, they buy them through a lot of good production sales in Iowa with the Scimitars and Angus.
Hey, let's talk about our show judge when he comes
Oh,
in
yeah.
there. Matt Copeland had talked about that. And if you look right here, he's had 35 Supreme, Reserve Supreme in the last 8 years, okay?
Yep.
And he had said, I think of that, I think there was one embryo transplant calf out of 35. He said, I think 5 of them, maybe 6, were out of AI sires. So that gets us in the 20s. The rest were out of herd bulls.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can, you know, he just said, hey, you make good cattle, turn out good bulls, you can make good stuff.
Yep.
Which I think is a little more common in the Hereford side. I think Hereford guys do that quite a little bit more.
We were lucky. We raised a Reserve National Canadian Champion Shorthorn heifer several years ago. It was out of our herd bull. I mean, it was a cow bred or a bull bred our cow, and we raised it, and she went on to be reserve at the Canadian National Shorthorn Show. So, yeah,
Awesome.
that's a pretty good deal. Now, there's some nice heifers in here. We're getting a little
Yeah,
more
we
weight on
just-
these. We're in the low 8s. That's what these cattle are weighing, and I mean, there is a nice lineup of cattle out here.
Yeah. Looks like rounding out that class on that end be Cole Snyder from West Branch. Got a really nice heifer there, looks like.
Clara Hands, Michaela Jones. She's a Tingley. She's a Southern Iowa girl. Is out here.
Yeah, they come out here around the corner and get going. That's Jones girl there leads out with Clara Hand. They've had a few been showing here. Searsboro, James. Is that as good as it gets? Is that the gray one?
Yeah, I think so. That's the way it is.
Have a little bit of Charlet on the backside. Wonder how many of them like that would be maybe out of a market heifer they might have showed in the past.
Oh, absolutely,
maybe.
Yeah.
You know, sure could be. Then we get
Spotted
the
up
Amazing
one.
Grace has to be the white one.
When in doubt's the one in front of her.
Oh, with the white light on her legs. Yeah. Herd Bull's got white on her face.
If it turns the corner, it's a Brockle. You're in. I know that. Or it's a Baldy. I mean,
yeah, that's got to be.
I
It's got to be a good bull if he just throws a Baldy.
Oh, that might be a little Brockle. Is that got enough white for you?
Yeah, it's maybe not first
quite.
choice, but it's way up there, high choice.
Yeah, it's better than just straight black,
it's still
though.
Good. No, it's better than straight black. Yeah.
Matt and Dan, they'll whittle down through this pretty quick, I'd imagine. Copeland's going after it like he means it now.
Oh, he finds a herd bull.
Herd bull, got it. Copeland was on a.
He did not get my memo with the white on the face.
He has not. No, we'll be during lunch.
To bring that up to him.
During lunch, we'll make sure we get him up to speed on what the cheap help up in the seats think he needs.
Yeah, cheap help would be right.
I'm the cheap help. You're the talent. I'm just along for the sidekick.
Somebody just texted you've got really poor judgment.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh.
For that comment. Yep. We got Brad Hook. Let's see what Brad's got to say. Oh, no, he's talking about show steers.
He's on the steers. Speaking about a guy that volunteers a lot, that's the voice of a lot of stuff, we do give Jay Bradley a little hard time just because he's kind of a lightning rod for it, but he's a good feeler. But, you know, that guy donates a lot of time.
He does.
For a lot of activities. He's between our showdowns and our expos and state fairs and stuff. I mean, we've had him when we had the main key junior national here. We asked him to be our commentator. We dressed him up in an Elvis costume. He didn't even
on that. Didn't bother him, no.
He didn't even bat an eye. He dressed up. He did it. He was about the kids. And if you ask nicely and if it's for the kids, I mean, he very rarely will say no. So we do give him a hard time. But yeah, he's in it for the kids. He knows what makes it go around for sure. We'll get down to the top 4 out here now. Let's whittle down through her.
Yeah, I think he gets
top
3 down to 2. I think we got an easy class winner there, that Snyder boy. I thought that calf looked good. See what he's got to say.
So that's even better yet. Thanks, Bruce.
Boy, a really nice way to start this class off here. Heifer that just rises to the top. Real easy for Dan and I, just in terms of soundness and functionality and broodiness and cowiness, and yet she still has some power. She has some femininity and look to her. She's fresh in terms of her condition. Just a really, really good class winner here. Heifer that comes here in second. You like the growth and performance that she has. You like the added length of body and length of spine this female gives you. But for us, we'd like to make her truer from the hock to the ground and give her just a little bit more swoop and round rib shape to that female compared to our class winner, but like a lot of pieces about that one. Silver heifer that comes next is the same mold as one that's ahead of her. Just needs some more round rib shape to her, starting from the center of her spine, going all the way to the bottom of her body, and maybe make her walk a little truer off those front two. Really like the good look that she gives you. Love her in terms of her condition. She's spot on the way she's fed. Got a lot of power. Heifer that comes next just needs to walk better off her front two, but a big capacious kind of a female that's stout and thick-ended. Baldy heifer next, just runs out of show ring pizzazz, but boy, you want to talk about one that's got some meat and some muscle in her. That's a very nice heifer in that regard. The 4 heifers that round out the class just simply need to be better footed or better structured to get them any higher today. Nice class of heifers. Congratulations to you young people.
As we talked there, I thought there was one looked like she was sure easy to spot for us, and they found her just the same. So I guess down on the floor she matches what she did the big picture up high here.
Yep, exactly. Yep, she came in and she kind of hit the pose, and she looked the part when she came through the door.
Yep. I wonder if that would be. I wonder if that's Matt Snyder's boy. West Branch, rest of them bear. That'd be most of them all grew up there in Washington County, Iowa. Very strong county there, but I think he's a little bit over. But class 420 is going in the ring, 836 to 862. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of them should be in this class. We got a Holy Smoker, a Bankroll, Alpha, Carlson Alpha, good as it gets, Brilliance, Pay the Price, as good as it gets.
Mafia.
Memphis Mafia. That one's probably an intentionally bred one to get to a Memphis Mafia with the high price of that semen. And then an 805 Free. Stella Lautner there with the loud colored one we're not going to miss anywhere.
This is kind of fun to watch. There are some color and some color patterns, and
there is, yeah,
some differences out here within these ones.
Yep. But you can kind of see that Bankroll heifer there in the second spot there, Tim, with the white on her. You know, she's got a lot more exotic look where she wouldn't necessarily fit as well in the percentage side.
She'd have been like kind of an outlier there.
She would have been just a little bit. I think she does. I think she fits, would have been. You know, a little bit nicer. We talked about that earlier there. So, you know, I think it's good. But we get up in here, it's good. So we've got, I guess, just only 3 classes in this division.
We're moving right down through these things. These guys
right out here around the corner.
These guys are getting at it. I'm just leaning over the rail here and looking down here. Here's the Pulse girls. They're hard at it, working on the computer, sending stuff out. We're giving you the play-by-play, and they're giving you the pictures as we go along in the play-by-play.
Hey, normally everybody play-by-plays follows the Pulse.
Yep.
Should ask the girls, how many clicks you think the Pulse gets on a daily basis like today?
I don't know.
After this show.
I'll ask Tess is down here right now. I'll ask Tess. Do you have any idea?
Tim's asking Tess Mittag, how many clicks will the Pulse get today?
She's going to look it up.
Beef Expo.
So
how many thousands would it be? Is she going to tell
today?
us, or is that privy information?
So over the course of Expo, there's been 36,000 clicks.
Those are different.
Really nice class, and honestly, different a pair people. Of them up here that are honestly.
Let me back up there. Everybody see, we have 36,000 different people.
Yeah, 36 during the course of the Expo. She said during the course of the Iowa Expo,
right.
Just Iowa. Now they've got, what else? San Antonio's going on, or was going on.
Right.
There's they're in other places, but just Iowa Beef Expo, 36,000 clicks.
Tim, seriously, something else is going on in the world other than what goes on in Iowa?
No, I didn't
I thought
say
this
that.
is the only thing in the world that went on. I thought we were the center of the universe here this week.
We are. For us, it is. But I'm sure somebody somewhere else thinks something else is more important, I guess.
Oh.
How dare they think that shit? We are getting filled up.
That's big numbers. That's a lot of people.
Steer side's got a nice crowd today. Beautiful day to travel. Beautiful day to come to the Iowa Beef Expo to watch the kids. But if you rather sit at home and watch it on liveauctions.tv and listen to the cousins talk the steer side and Chad and I talk on the heifer side. So Here they go again. They've got them kind of rolling around out here. We got down to, what, a 3? Are we at 3 or 4?
I think we're 4. I think we're 3.
Now we're 3. So
now we're 3.
It don't take these boys very long to get them whittled down to 3. They get 3 pretty fast, it seems like.
Yeah, they got firing.
Going to walk them. That's about the only second or third time all week weekend that they've walked the top 3. So it'll be interesting to see what they get done out of this deal.
763. Bristol Young, that'd be Wellman. She's right there in the second spot. That's a nice little heifer. I think Cody Klein is the other one there at State Center, and then must be Lincoln from Corydon, Iowa. That's a nice heifer. Lincoln's got that Memphis Mafia heifer on the backside. Cody Klein, I think, just got pulled. We're down between Bristol, Lincoln.
Not wishing my life away, but I am going to peek into the Class 3 Division 2. Yeah, that one could be way good. There's a couple in that one that couple families that you recognize that I think that could be really good. Not wishing our life, trying to keep here in the present, but these are nice heifers.
I'd say showmanship's not an issue. Bristol's getting everything out of her heifer right there. She has got that thing.
She is set up.
Stuck to get it going. She's kind of been in the shadows of her older sister, who's done a really good job showing, but I'd say she's got that figured out right about now.
I was perusing back around with senior showmanship was Madison McCullough, Drew's older sister, won the senior division here, and then Sloan Curtin was reserve a couple days ago on Friday, I think is when they did that. I just popped up on brought that up. So there's a lot of good ones. There we go.
Oh gosh, yep.
Here's our
Memphis
judges.
Mafia works. Start.
Nice pair of heifers at the top of this crossbred class. This young man here in the black shirt's got one that when you watch her go, she's got a perfect hind leg in her. It's got that nice set and that squishy pasture. Good and relaxed in her knee when you get her out and going. But you get up on top that one, she's big back, big hip, good neck, good chested with plenty of rib shape and dimension to her. That's a really nice heifer to start off this class. This young lady coming out next has got one that doesn't have quite all the bells and whistles as that first place when she may be just a little deeper in her chest floor, but that's a heifer that I think's built for the long haul in terms of longevity of structure. Got some center part of her body there, just not quite as stout and powerful down that top and into her hip is what our first place winner is, but a really, really nice one. Young man coming out here in third's got one that I think on down the road in the summer is going to be pretty hard to get around, just a little greener and a little fresher in her condition today, but one that gives you that cookie cutter look from the side, really good in her structure, just needs to stouten up to run with them two in front of her today. The next heifer coming out, really powerfully constructed one. I'd just like to free that one up a little bit off those rear two. Kind of the same way with the brockle-headed heifer coming out next. She's one that wants to get a little more upright in those pasterns when you set her into motion. A really cool looking one that those of you that follow Matt's program know that he likes these ones with this extra splash of color to them. That's one that we just feel needs to be a nickel sounder off of both ends to get her up within that deal, but one I think's got a bright future as a club calf mom. The next three we'd just like to give a little more quality to.
Hey, just as we thought, that was a close pair, and as they talk them things, you know, as a close pair, it was sure good. So I thought them things were really nice. So looks like we're going to have them things would be tough, but we're going to have 421 be our last class of Division II. Only 8 here in this class. We've got some Angus sired. Looks like we've got a couple Primos in God We Trust, a Fu Manchu to go right up in there. So we're led by Hallie Pedrick. So Ollie, Iowa comes in there. Hey, Cal Pryor, I remembered that shirt and cowboy hat. He's been in here before. Gavin Hunt, Columbus Junction. Olivia Paulson, Onslow. She's got gray Fu Manchu, looks like. 919, don't know what that is. So maybe just a little bit more variation here in this class, maybe than even the last. So you'd kind of see here in the market on the market side just via sires, but again, a really nice class. As these guys get down here and work on them, we're on 421. Yeah, we're on 421. Yes, we are. Yeah. Because those yeah, but on mine right here. Sorry for a delay. We had an update on our program here, and we had Tim was his program was reading different than our program, so we want to be right though, because I know it's a rare feat that I've ever admitted to be wrong, even though I've been wrong all the time. But
I am happily married. I get reminded of that all the time. So I'm sorry. I was apologizing. I was not arguing with the lead honcho up here. I was just going off of what I had here. I had something, words of wisdom I was going to say.
Kendra, she jumped up, checked the thing. She was making sure. She thought she was right. She's like, "These two idiots. I know I'm right over here."
I should have known. I'm questioning her. I'm not. I know she's on top of it. So I have no idea why I should have just went off of my iPad that we're watching.
We should get her up here. She surely could tell me a story about her dad. Her dad has got the best stories. Can I tell a story about your dad? Chris Ebolt, one of the best ones I ever heard, and we did when we went in there. We talked about a little bit on this aging stuff, and these heifers maybe moved a little bit. But I remember sitting in the truck there one time, and I might have been with Tracy Gretzka. We was riding through the hills with Chris Ebolt, and I said, "Hey, what's that calf? He's tag 107. Well, how old's he? May, June, July, whatever you want him to be."
You pick. It's up to you. You just
May,
go ahead.
June, July. I love that one. That was a lot of years ago, but I just love that. It's like whatever you want him to be, he's for sale.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Let your conscience be your guide. Here comes Copeland.
Boy, another nice class of females here. Young man sure got one that just excels, just in terms of structural integrity, the way that she gets around the ring and foot size and depth of heel, and yet still attractive through that front 1/3, bold in her rib design, stout featured, stout made, nice kind of a female. Star-headed female that comes here in second. Very similar in her type and kind to the one that leads off. Maybe just pushing a little too much condition for us in that brisket. Might like to relax her on that left rear as she gets out and goes. But boy, you sure appreciate the broodiness and the cow power that one possesses. Silver heifer that comes next. Boy, if you're wanting to raise some steers, I think you gravitate to this one. But for us, she's just a little too much out here in this lineup. Next heifer that rounds out. Boy, she's very soft, very sound as she gets out and goes. She just needs more true cow power to get her any higher today, but appreciate the soundness that she has. Next heifer's one that just can't quite motor quite good enough, but you appreciate her when you get up on top of her back and her spine, how stout she is and how stout featured she is. The heifers that round out the class all have some good to them. They're high quality, have some growth and performance. They just need to be softer off their hind two or their front two.
Get out here within this class of crosses, and to be dead honest with you, this young man brought a gun to a knife fight. There's no debating it. This is where we need to land, and there was never a conversation. Awesome presentation, very, very. We'll break him. That comes next. He landed in 2 because, in our opinion, of the remaining cattle, he was probably just the next best option in terms of fundamentals of body and muscle. We thought he was a better footed option than the calf in 3, and just kind of blended everything together a shot better. Still don't have the umph for the bells and the whistles to run with that initial one. Young man in 3, really long and attractive up front, stout out of his hip. He's also a little low and round there in his pin set, maybe a little straighter in his hock. A calf that has a really nice kind of body design and a really attractive look. The baldy calf that comes next, young lady does a very nice job of getting him stuck and put together. The problem is when we ask the cattle to go, he just gets a shot too straight off of either end of his skeleton, but he still had more body and more doability than the calf that comes next. Young lady in the green shirt has one that is really opened up. I mean, that is a big-backed animal that definitely has a lot of product. We thought he cut up into his flank pretty hard, maybe needed a shot of forerib to make his shoulder blend a shot better. And then the black and white calf that rounds us out, probably, you know, the same type of way in terms of the type and kind of his body, just a little bit harder, but we also thought that he was probably...
We get out here for our Division II championship and the commercial heifer deal. I mean, now the heat's starting to come now. It's starting to get good out here, Chad. These cattle are getting a little more weight to them, a little bigger, a little burlier, weighing the 8s, you know, the bigger end of these cattle. And not the big wins, I don't mean that, but I think the further along you can go in your maturity pattern, the further along you can go in the development of these cattle, whether it be on the steer side and or the heifers, it just takes questions out of it. The older they get, it gets where it's at. So here's our division.
Seconds get back out here. Matt and I look at them, and I think there's one that just really comes to the top, and in terms of giving you the look and soundness of structure and putting everything together in that ideal package. We'll go out here and pick your champion in reserve. Congratulations to these kids.
Cole Snyder comes out of that first class of Division II, be our champion Division II winner. Congratulations to him from West Branch, Iowa, on a Coleman's Primo heifer. Winner out of Class 2, 547. Lincoln with that Memphis Mafia heifer. That was a tough decision where poor old Bristol kind of gets run shy there, but had a good spot where he comes shy. It's how close it gets. But that's a nice pair of heifers there, Division II. Now we get over to the little bit bigger, stouter, a little faster track again here, probably going in Division III, don't we?
And that was a nice trio of class winners, in all honesty, Chad. I think 3 of them. I think the prior heifer, I think she definitely fit into that group right there too. So yeah, now we're getting some cattle in some 9s and 1000s. These guys are moving right along. I mean, they're getting right through it. So are the steer guys. The steer guys are getting along really, really well. I think they're going to have us all pretty well done and out of here in a pretty timely fashion would be my guess. So, but Matt and Dan are back out here. They're ready to roll. So these guys again have done a nice job.
They're ready to bring them. Yes, they
Dan,
have.
Quick update as we're coming in. Dan Harker from Indiana. His wife Jill traveled out here with him. Simmental Foundations, Highs, and some Angus out that way. And associate judge for Dan is Matt Copeland. Matt's from New Mexico. 500-600 head of cows out there. Him and his dad and his wife run that operation. Herefords. They bought a couple potloads of Angus cows, I know, from Krebs. He was telling me about that. So I got a few Angus and Herefords, and they dabble in some Maines. Good cattle people, really good. I asked Dan yesterday, I mean, he's our lead judge, and I said, what's the tie with you and Copeland? I said, is there anything? He goes, no. He said, we're friends. He said, we talk a couple times a month, and he said, I just wanted somebody out here to keep me honest. He said, I know Matt very well, and he'll call me out and tell me I'm full of shit, or that's not right, or you're missing this or missing that. And he says he just really appreciates his honesty and eyesight on doing that and stuff. And this is like you and I, Chad. We've done a whole bunch of judging contests together. Been honored, asked to officiate them and stuff. And like I said yesterday, you and we've done that. I think you and I both agree the quality cattle win, and good quality cattle. But when it comes down to it, we like them a little bit different, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's all good. It's a compliment. That's all it is. So.
And even some of them committees we put together on those judging contests, you'll have a group of well-qualified folks on that committee, and you can have them split across the board, them four. Oh. I mean, you could have some, them tough ones, you could have a class, somebody might start with one, and the other guy might put her last. There's just not that much spread. That's like this show here, too.
And we've been on those committees, too, and there'll be 4 or 5 of them on that committee, and you've been our committee captain or whatever you want to call it. And there's times that I'll be the outlier. I'll be the only one that do this, or you'll be the only one that does that. But you know what? You've always been good, and we speak up. This is what we see them. And again, you don't have to agree, but just appreciate what I'm saying. I appreciate what you say. Bring up the emphasis and the ideas. When we go on and we both, it's always real easy. We will state our case, and I'm not going to say give in, but we understand what the other one is saying, and can appreciate.
Acknowledge and respect somebody else's for what they've got on their opinion. And certain people, you just have, you have a little more passion for a certain topic, and that's what's nice about a 2-man system. We can do it in one, just making sure we're seeing things right, maybe sure you're not missing something.
I've done a few of those 2-mans and worked with. I mean, the best one I got to work with, I was the associate. I was the second fiddle to Dr. Harlan Ritchie. We judged the Shorthorn Junior National.
How did he get to him ask you to be an associate?
It was one of those deals. So Dr. Ritchie, God rest his soul, and Dr. Roger Hunsley were good friends, of course, being longtime judging team. And I had resigned from Doc Hunsley at the association, and I was home doing my own thing and doing that. And it was the first year Michigan State had their new facility up in Michigan, and the Shorthorns went there for their junior national, and Doc and Dr. Hunsley and Dr. Ritchie were talking, and so they called me and asked me to be the associate for Dr. Ritchie for that junior national.
Amazing.
And I'm telling you,
I did not know that. There is no bigger name in the Sirloin Gallery.
My hair in the back of my neck right now is still standing up because I told I was so proud of that fact, and still am. That is one of the things that I just truly cherished. And I know you find this hard to believe, and I know a lot of people listening at home find it hard to believe, but I shut up. And I was just, as I tell some of my kids that I work with on judging that kind of stuff, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Let's use them in the right proportion. Let's listen way more than we talk.
Wow.
And I mean, I soaked it all in what Dr. Ritchie had to say. I was never, and you talk about true gentleman, you talk about a true professional. He was literally one of the nicest men I have ever met.
I don't know where we'd have anybody more influential in terms of respected, though. I mean, when he would speak, I mean, people would listen. That's it. That's good. I don't know if I've got. I wouldn't have anything to match up somebody with him. I will say that I did have two great instructors that we did that are trying to vie to get on the Sirloin Hall of Fame.
A heifer this year got a nice look to her. She's got some boldness of body. She's got some sound and structure on her hind too. She's a bigger bone, bigger footed kind of a female. That's long bodied, has a nice look to her. Just a very nice logical class winner. The heifer that comes in second, is one that's very attractive through that front 1/3. You really like the way that her neck comes out the top side of her shoulder. She's bold sprung, but she wants to get a little up on the left hind ankle. Maybe wants to twist out a little too much up front compared to our class winner, but very, very highly competitive female. Female that comes next is one that's just a little plainer through her front 1/3, but you like the mass and the bone and the stoutness that she has, just like to make her a little bit more elegant up front and maybe set her back in her knee just a smidgen. Do that, we move her up a spot or two. Heifer that comes next is one that's really capacious, really bold sprung, broody kind of a female. Just wants to get too opened up in the front part of that shoulder and labor some off those front two. The smoke heifer that comes next is a nice kind of a female. You appreciate the length of body and the stoutness that she has. Just needs to be sounder off either end. The three heifers that round out the class, they do have some product and some performance in them. Maybe they need to just be a little sounder off either end. Maybe have a shot more natural rib and flank with the heifer that rounds out the class. Nice class of females. Congratulations to you young people.
So we were just talking off air.
Yeah, that was a good.
That was a great class. Sorry, we're not tripping down memory lane. I want to have Chad tell me about the two instructors that he was talking about too. But we were saying, he goes, did you ever, back with Harlan Rich, he said, did you ever, Sway's, influence and stuff? And I said, no. I brought up one time, it was a division championship, and I remember that. And Harlan, I still remember this, and I still use this judging today. He said, pick every class or every division like that's your champion, because you don't know what's coming next.
You do. You about have to, because you can't go back.
So make sure that your conviction, don't
one.
settle. Make sure your conviction is in your heart, that one that you're picking for that division or that class winner is good enough to get your picture made with at the end. And I had one brought up, and I said, hey, I like this one's a little beefier and bold, had more stuff to her and stuff. He goes, yeah, Tim, I think you're right. But she goes, I believe we'll look better behind the other one. I think that other one will take a better picture. And he was right, and she was good. They were both really, really good. But what an opportunity! Sorry for the trip down memory lane, folks. That was a great class of commercial heifers. Here comes another really good class.
And this 423 class, it's going to be good, folks. So you can just see them things walk across your screen as they come in here and get lined up there side by side for our judges to go back in there. But going to be good. We got a good as it gets. 1-0 classified. Broker, Endgame, Primo, Loverboy, Broker again, Memphis Mafia, May We All, County O. So between Memphis Mafia and Broker, we got some high dollar semen type genetics in that set right there. This is a big stat. This is tough right here.
And I'm just kind of looking over here to our on the registration numbers. There's I would say there's probably a key. I'd say there's probably an appendix shorthorn. I would say there's I'll say a main something, the end game. I'd say there's a purebred Angus out there.
Could be. Maya Kern, that could be a main Angus, could be a Angus.
Well, I was looking at Maya's, that number's big enough. I bet that's an Angus. That's a big number.
Oh, I don't have a registration number on my side. I got you. Yeah, I bet it is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Again, we have different programs. Sorry,
we
folks.
do have different programs.
So, yeah. So, when we get down here, and then there's Klingman,
Smiley. I see her right there.
She's got one that's going to...
We got Sloan Curtin must be in there, too.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Sloan right there, second one.
Sloan's
they're coming out of order from our sheet, so that's we kind of go mix and you kind of recognize some faces.
There's a County O.
Sloan's already having a good day with her Angus out here now.
You think that was a good day?
Thick of stuff. I'd say that's a dang good day.
And I know that's
She's going to be in the money.
That's a great house. That's a great family. I've been T-Money and Brooklyn. I mean, Sloan's had a pretty good crew to help her go through it, but that one's pretty good. But, yeah, so this is a good run out here again. This is another last lineup of cattle. The heat's getting turned up out here now, Chad,
they're going to have to work their way through here.
This commercial deal. Not that the first classes were easy.
There's going to be about 4 or 5 of these in this group that are going to take a little sorting.
Yeah.
he's probably more extended than the calf in 2, probably not quite as good in terms of his jaw as the calf in 2, but still a calf that probably honestly is more extended, a calf that is just absolutely awesome in terms of his body shape, where we like to study this one, and where in my opinion he's so good as you study this angle right here, 3/4 view of how that guy's shape, turn, freshness, and body all sits in him, and he does that with the right kind of shoulder. You know, these things are good, guys, and to be quite honest with you, it hurts my feelings that we have to get out here and criticize cattle that are this good, because honestly, you know, it takes talent to put them together. It takes, you know, a lot of planning and a lot of, you know, everything to raise cattle of this quality. With that being said, we got to pick one, you know, and we're going to rewalk them, talk it a little bit more betwixt ourselves, and go out and show you the 2 that we like the best. Let's give these exhibitors, breeders, all these guys a big round of applause. We'll go show you the 2 that we like.
We was pretty close. We said there'd be 4 of them to get down here on this final walk, but looks like we got 5, and there's 4. So we got Sloan Curtin, Maya Kern, 684 will be, maybe they, and that back boy there, that's a nice heifer. I missed it. I apologize for that.
I wanted to hop back on the mic right quick because me and Chance, while we were studying these 4, we also talked about that duo there within that class and talked about
boy, they just, I knew this 4 when they got back down there it'd be tough. Derek Klingman down there has got that Memphis Mafia heifer at the far end I thought looked good. Might be Riley Johansson there with a broker heifer there. That next out there of that is what I'm guessing maybe for them 4. But man, them things lighted up. I tell you, them are good.
Yeah. And that's
we
what
still
we
have
figured.
another class with before we get that division. And I know they go, and I was watching on the steer side, Chloe Rogers just wins her division on the steer side. She's walking over. I see she has a heifer in the next class.
The next class.
So she is she's going to be staying in shape. Our little
Tyson Gretzka, he's doing good. He had a.
I like to say little Tyson Gretzka, but that's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
He lost his cowboy hat on this side, though.
Yeah, he had.
He's a cow breeder Angus guy with his hat on.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's a steer guy over here on this side. Yep.
He'd kind of he follows after his dad on the heifer side and his uncle on the steer side.
I think so.
And where's his aunt fall? Where do you think his aunt? That's a pretty good family too. You know, that's deep. I mean, man, they've got.
Well, his cousin just got pulled right here, Maya. That'd be Sarah's daughter.
Sarah's daughter. Yep.
Pretty competitive. I seen Dan Gretzka. I seen him, said hi to him here this morning. He's here. He said he was dang sure happy to be upright and the sun shining. So he said, hey, I don't know how it gets any better than that.
No, it's a good day.
It's a good day. Got to start that way anyhow.
Yeah. You wake
down
up
to 3 with still lots of discussion.
wake up on the right side of the grass. That's a pretty good way to start the day.
Yep. So what is Sloan's heifer is actually a one oak. It's got some dirty on the cow side. Boy, I can't read their body language at all, which way they're leaning.
Not at all.
I'm trying.
They might send these out on another walk here. Oh, there you go. 2, 3,
2, 1.
Sloan wins that one.
Place to Braden Grubel, third to Brock Thelman of Ainsworth, Braden Grubel of Lacona, and Tyson Gretzka of Corton. Fourth to Micah Brooks of Manchester, fifth to Oakley Cobb of McClellan, and sixth to Theo Baumer of Onslow. Once again, Chloe Rogers wins Division 3, Tyson Gretzka reserve.
Outstanding class over here in the commercial female side of things, and you know, you could take the top 3 or 4 of these and flip-flop them, but for Matt and I, we think that there's one that just comes to the top in terms of quality and balance and eye appeal and structural correctness. She's the one that puts everything together. That young lady gets that one parked and gets her cocked off like she is there now. Just gives you an outstanding silhouette, but yet still plenty of substance and power to that female. Really, really good one to start off this class with. The star-headed one coming out next, young lady has, I mean, that one just reads true cow power to me. That's one that's really good in her forerib. She's got a big, powerful hip in her. She gets out and goes around the ring on a really good foot. Just a sound individual. May not be the flashiest thing we've seen all day, but I think that one in terms of quality is just really nice. Whitney goes right into that second hole. This next one coming out in the third hole, really cool looking female. Killer eye appeal. Young man does a nice job getting that one stuck when she wants to handle herself for him, but that's one that I read on down the road into the fall time. You know, maybe not quite there today, but that's one that's got the parts and pieces that come fall, you know, North American, Kansas City time. Going to be really cool and hard to get around. Young man, keep working on that one. That one's a nice one. Just like to give her a little more true depth of body and capacity here today. And the next heifer coming out, really nice heifer, gives you that look of a nice Angus cow. I'd just like to change that one at the ground in terms of her foot quality. She wants to get a little hooky on them front toes, a little flatter and a little shallower in her heel than what I'd like to ideally see. But a heifer that's got an awesome rib shape to her, just like to change her there at the ground to compete with that high quality set in front of her. Nice short horn pairing female here. I think she just logically falls into that hole in terms of structure and quality and kind, and just falls right there for us. Young lady coming out next, got one that's a little chunkier and a little plainer, but I think in terms of cow power, she's going to go on and make a nice cow. The rest of these cattle, I just like to balance them up a little better, give them a little better structure at the ground to get them any higher today. Thank you.
That was a big class of commercial heifers, and a lot of differences, types and body kinds and body shapes on that one. But again, I sorted them to the top, and they sorted out really, really pretty good.
Yeah, you can follow right along when they described them. You know, where they put their emphasis there and what they had, what they was looking for. But, yeah, I don't know you really could do that trio wrong. I thought it was good. A couple less here maybe in this class, not many. Only 8 of them versus where we've been running about 10 of them, but this is our last class, Division 3. We'll see if Brad's going to give us a rundown on that class. If he does or not, we'll let you tune into what he's got to say. Boy, that first one, Kenny Klingman right there, he brings us a nice heifer if that's him coming out of that. Severa Style, she looks good. Got a Baldy alert there with Jenna White at Blakesburg.
Chloe Rogers.
Oh, there's Chloe right there. I see her.
What would that one
What
be?
is her heifer? Style. Weighs 1,000 pounds. She's having a good day. Look like her steer on that side coming to man division there to be good.
Rose. Second to Hunter Kupka of Vinning. Third to J.C. Moen of Grettinger. Fourth to Kate Totemeyer of Columbus Junction. Fifth to Ryder Wolf of Donahue. Sixth to Avery Helmrichs of Marengo. Seventh to J.D. Bremer of Oshedon. Eighth to Carly Reed of Nevada. Ninth to Tucker Llewellyn of Minburn. And 10th to Ellie Coppice of Stanwood. Your champion Division I commercial effort goes to Maggie Carr out of Class 418. Your reserve goes to Drew McCullough out of Class 417. Placings for Class 419, new division here, Division II. First place, Cole Schneider, West Branch. Second to Blake Evans of Humiston. Third to Annie Johnson of Independence. Fourth to Michaela Jones of Tingley. Fifth to Riley Kroc of Mechanicsville. Sixth to Carson James of Searsboro. Seventh to Briley Means of Villisca. Eighth to Mason Clarahan of Harper. And ninth to Leighton Avery of Swaledale. That was placings for Class 419. Commercial efforts.
I told Chance when we got done with that last division, I never thought I would be hot, in the state of Iowa in February, but, things are getting heated, and we were like, man, that's the heat there in that division, and then this guy walks in, and you're like, that calf is awesome in terms of just how massive he is, for that guy to be this far along in maturity and mass and weight, still be that fresh up front and that good looking. Bottom line, where he separates himself from the gold steer in second, when you put those cattle in motion, he's quite a bit more fluid and just more agile in terms of how he gets off of both ends of his skeleton. When they're parked, this gold steer, I'll be honest with you, I've always liked one of this color just because they stand out, and he is absolutely maxed out. I mean, they have got him put together awesome proportions, balance, everything you want to talk standing, you can talk it. Even his joints read correct when he's on the stand, and you ask that calf to get out and go. We just wish he'd just reach and grab ground, just do it on just a looser, more athletic type of a skeleton, but that is one awesome one in terms of his look, his muscle, and his power. We walked that initial trio there the last time. We weren't very comfortable with how this one hit the ground from behind. You study him and step in behind, he kind of wants to put all the weight on the outside of his hoof wall there from behind, but when that young man gets him parked, he's very, very good from the side. Love that guy in terms of his top line and how shapely he is out the back side of his blade. Just want to change him ever so slightly there at the ground, but that's definitely a very high quality one to go in 3. Same goes for the young man in 4. That is not a bad animal. There's no doubt about it. I mean, that's a good looking one that's still awesome in terms of his just mass and dimension.
On our heifer side, as they get down to 3 here, we got Kenny Klingman on his style heifer still in contention. Chloe Rogers is still 2-1. Kenny Klingman, Severe Style, wins that class.
Did you see that? He gave a pump, gave a fist pump. He's excited. He should be. It's a good heifer. It's a tough class. She's probably a little more kind of like some of the breed heifers. She's maybe a little more angular, a little better through her front, perhaps. Take another away from Chloe's heifer. She's burly, big top. Obviously more
very
bone.
Nice heifer here on our commercial side. Rises to the top just in terms of structural integrity, the foot size, depth of heel, and the way she just gets out and motors around the ring. And yet she's still very bold sprung, and the rib cage comes out center portion of her spine. She's big back, big hip, got some stoutness down low, walks with some base width, has some chest width, just has a lot of maternal to her to go with the show ring look. Nice female. Female that comes next, boy, you love this one when she's parked. Boy, I'm telling you, you cannot make one any nicer silhouette than this female is. But for Dana and I, it's when you set her into motion. She wants to get a little hard in that hock. She wants to toe out just a freckle up front, and we'd like to open her up in her skeletal width down low. She gets a little base narrow, but boy, you want to talk about a silhouette and body and power and mass. This one comes with those bells and whistles. The next one coming is very, very sound. We like that about her. She's just pushing a little too much condition for us and gets a little frailer from her shoulder down and her hock down for us. If we change that, we can bump her up a spot or two. Semi-looking heifer that comes next is one that's very big featured, but she gets a little coarse in her shoulder, wants to get a little coarse into her spine and her tail head, just like to refine her up a little bit, but I appreciate the bone and the foot and the cow power that she has. Black and white heifer that comes next gets a little bit asymmetrical for us in her top shape. Like to broaden her up there behind her shoulders, make her steadier behind her shoulders as well. She wants to get a little weak there, but a very good looking heifer that's got some body and bone and some mass to her. The heifers that round out the class, good type and kind of cattle. They just either need to be stouter and burlier built or better off their structure. Very, very high quality class. Congratulations to you young people.
Really another nice class of commercial heifers there that Mr. Copeland just got done talking. I think that was a outstanding lineup of females. I believe, if my paper's right, I think we're ready for Division 3.
So let me catch you back up over on the commercial heifer side. Class 420 placings, first place, Lincoln Bent, Corden, Iowa. Second to Bristol Young, Wellman. Third to Cody Klein, State Center. Fourth to Carson Dugan of Kellerton. Fifth to Bell Nedelicki of Fairfax. Sixth to Stella Lautner of Jefferson. Seventh to Wyatt Doro of Charter Oak. Eighth to Carson Litcher of Stanwood. And ninth to Paige Martin of Springville. Placings for Class 421 commercial heifers. Last class, Division 2. First place, Kyle Pryor, Woodbine. Second to Brock Bowman of Glidden. Third to Kaisha Van Ingen of Everly. Fourth to Sadie Clarahan of Harper. Fifth, Olivia Paulson Onslow. Sixth to Wyatt Rosenmeyer of Wesley. And seventh to Haley Pedrick of Ollie. Your Division 2 champion, commercial heifer Cole Snyder. Division 2 reserve champion, commercial heifer Lincoln Bent.
Jay Bradley's catching us up there. We're now into Division 3 on the commercial heifer side. 3 classes out here. Again, nice lineup of females.
Back out here for this division in the commercial lineup. I think we have a really, really nice set of class winners here in their respective seconds. I think I'd be proud to take any 6 of these home and make cows out of them on down the road, and I think they'll be productive depending on how you want to manage them and how you want to breed them. But I think there's one out here in terms of freshness and overall condition that just puts everything together in the most complete, well-balanced package for us. We're going to pick our champion and follow up with the reserve. Congratulations to these kids.
Here comes Dan Spears Sloan. Curtin will be your Division 3 commercial champion. The young man that came out of the last class, 3rd class in that division, will be your reserve. Again, I think our judges have done a great job again today. They're looking at them and evaluating them. They're using these cattle get in this commercial thing, and there can be a lot of obviously variations. The sires, the dams these are all over the board. I mean, they're They're some papered heifers that were maybe Anguses that moved over, or commercials, or I'm sorry, not commercials, but keys or semis or whatever. And again, like Chad said, like yesterday could have been basketball games, state wrestling was going on. A young man wanted to, a young lady wanted to show today, and they had a sporting event. I saw where Chesney Steenhook, she was double duty yesterday. I believe she played basketball yesterday morning, and then got over here to show her Simmental Foundation heifer, and was like reserve division. I mean, did really, really well. And so yeah, there's a lot of variables and stuff that goes in there, and I think that's the nice part about this. But we're running in there the way
Blondie hits the ring, and you never second guess yourself whether
he's two classes left. In our Sloan Curtin won that last division, Chad.
Yeah, I
nice
seen that
heifer.
from down low. Yep.
But this one's Wolfie, man. This is quite a class as well. Look at these.
Yeah, them things you watch them walk in. I mean, they want to come get you.
And I think these guys have stuck. I said there's a lot of variations within this commercial deal. Different sires, different. We got some one oaks. As good as it gets, some of the clubby side of it. But I think these guys have really stuck to their guns as far as the type they like. Again, those are good cattle. I mean,
yeah, but no matter what the sire is, the cattle look very similar.
Exactly. That's what my point was. Yeah, they're still. They might be a bigger boned or a little more wolf, but they're still high quality cattle, and they're not afraid to use them or bring them up, or at least talk about them and acknowledge them. Then when they get out there for their divisions, they can really get nitpicky and pick their type, and I think they've done a great job in the first. In the first three divisions of that.
Right. Yeah, they get back around there. There's, kind of get quiet there and watch those things. There's some incredible good heifers in this class.
Yeah, this is probably the deepest class we've had in these commercials.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
that
the
Avery
best.
Sweeney, boy, that heifer sure looks good.
That's what I just looked her up.
Did
She's
you?
a 24 carat. That's a nice heifer.
Nice heifer.
Excuse me, I got the coughs.
I don't know on how the rumor mill goes, but I thought somebody maybe said the Sullivan heifer in this class that looks good is a 24 carat as well. Maybe a 24 carat Huda Man. I don't know that for 100% fact, but she sure could be that.
Yep.
She looks nice. Kind of snaps her head around like a Huda Man.
Acts like she might have a little attitude. I think it's kind of funny that Sarah is the largest key register breeder in the United States.
She is.
Yeah.
I did not realize that. Oh, wow.
As far as terms of registries. Yep.
No,
but she's had a bunch of them.
That's how they measure it. Yeah.
That's how they measure. But, she's had them. Her dad's always had that flair for them kind of exotics, wolfy ones anyway. And
well, I think they made enough Huda Mans that they got to breed them Huda Mans or something. So I think there's
absolutely,
enough of those things to go around with enough canina in there. But she'd be far right of your screen to be Sarah Sullivan. She's going to win this class.
Yep. That's a good trio of heifers.
We like they put third. Oh, my goodness.
Well, we liked them all, though.
We do.
We liked all three of them.
Maybe like the other two better, but
I don't know.
Still like that one in third.
I like that one in third quite a bit, yeah.
Let's see what
I like
they've
Sarah's
got to
heifer.
say.
Yep. Here's
She's pretty
Copeland.
impressive.
Boy, really nice class of commercial females here. Boy, three on this top end are real sporty. The one that wins, though, she just got an extra advantage in overall look and presentation, type and kind, structural integrity, body, power, and mass, and yet maternal in her type and kind. Very nice kind of a female. Female that comes next is one that's very good in her own right. She maybe just gives up a shot of power right there, true power right there in terms of her forerib. Maybe gives up a little bit of softness to those pasterns when she gets out and goes. Boy, good-looking, big-bodied, stout, very nice female. Female that comes here in third, very capacious, very bold-sprung, very brood cow looking in that regard. Just need to make her softer off either end when she gets out and goes around the ring. the 3 heifers that round out the class. Boy, they have some growth and performance and some muscle to them. Maybe just need to be a little bit better from their shoulder to their knee, a little bit better from their hock to the ground, or maybe have a shot more belly. Nice class. Congratulations.
All right, let me get you caught up over on the heifer side. First class, Division 3, 422. First place, Emma Norman, Searsboro. Second to Ava Seek of Blairstown. Third to Riley Tim of Guernsey. Fourth to Ethan Graber of Mount Pleasant. Fifth to Leighton Wales of Wyoda. Sixth to Kinsley Knutstrom of Creston. Seventh to Carson James of Searsboro. And eighth to Garrett Ahrens of Underwood. That was placings for class 422. Placings for class 423. First place, Sloan Curtin, Oxford. Second to Riley Johansson, Spirit Lake. Third to Derek Klingenman of New Virginia. Fourth, Maya Kern of Sheraton. Fifth, Erica Thoman of Ainsworth. Sixth to Aurora Schlichty of Melbourne. Seventh to Oakley Suter of Pleasantville. Eighth to Jake Teat of Tripoli. Ninth to Allison Boyle. 10th to Landry DeVore of Atlantic. 11th to Noah Scott of Lucas. And 12th to Eliza Schmidt of Adele. That was placings for class 423 commercial heifers.
All right, folks, this is our last class.
Colfax. Fourth to Jenna White of Blakesburg. Fifth to Joel Totemeyer of Columbus Junction. Sixth, Chris Dodds of Algona. Seventh to Addison Alphins of Anamosa. And eighth to Landon Grove of Ellsworth.
I think you already told him though, Sloan Curtin.
I did, and I didn't know. I couldn't remember Fist Bump boy's name.
Yeah.
I said, he goes, "That's the boy that fist bumped." I said, "I know," and it still doesn't say that on the program.
Klingman.
Kenneth Klingman was Reserve Division 3.
Yep, congratulations to him. This is our last class, commercial heifers with these 3 out here.
Surrounded by pretty girls up here from
And
liveauctions.tv. It's a pretty good day.
Bristol Gertis, my neighbor, wins her class. Congratulations to her. She's got a personality. She loves this. She's going to be out here several years.
She comes by
Your
that
Division
personality
3 champion commercial heifer going to Sloan Curtin. Reserve, Kennick Klingman of New Virginia. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, an interesting class here for our last class of the commercial division. We've got quite a bit of weight difference within this class, but Matt and I were talking in terms of structural integrity at the ground and footwork and just overall quality and balance and eye appeal. This young lady we start off with, we think excels this class. You watch that one walk away from you. She walks away with the truest hind leg set. She gets out and she goes square off of both corners and or all 4 corners and both ends, and we think that's a heifer. It's just a very high quality heifer run up against one that's 300 pounds heavier, but when you sit back and you actually analyze the structural integrity and the overall quality, we think this one comes to the top quite easily. The big heavy heifer here in the next hole is one that as we see this one, we see her as she walks away. She wants to swing those rear legs and get outside of herself as she tracks away from you. A little longer in her toe and shallower in her heel than what we like to ideally see, but a big, powerfully stout one there within that class. The next one coming out, a really muscled up kind of female, just not quite as feminine and fresh as what we like to ideally see.
Okay, let me catch up on the heifer side. Placings for class 425. First place, Sarah Sullivan. Second to Natalie McKenna, Sioux City. Third to Avery Sweeney of Vinton. Fourth to Dylan Dite of Rockford. Fifth to Colton Metcalf of Pleasantville. And sixth to Colton Nedelicki of Fairfax. That was placings for Class 425. The final class of the day on the heifer side, Class 426. First place, Bristol, Gertis, West Point, Iowa. Second to Clara Sinclair, Williamsburg, and third to Emma Whittaking of Green. They will be now selecting your champion Division 4 commercial heifer, then an overall champion commercial heifer. Once again, 30 minutes after the last class, or last division champion actually, on whichever side, 30 minutes after that, we will be starting with the steers, selecting your supreme champion steer, then finalizing with the heifer show.
All right, we're down to the short rows now, Chad.
Short rows.
It.
Yep.
We're going to pick us a division
I
here.
Say, yep. Two young ladies there that out here competing against each other. A little bit of age difference, but both have a passion for it. Bristol, she's a good one.
Really nice division here. Boy, quality sure hadn't gotten any less, and these 4 females out here represent this commercial breed real good. You know, we talked about them in class. We won't roll on with it, but we think there's 2 out here that strike our kind. You know, they're cowy, they're maternal, they're sound, functional, and yet they got power and with the chest and with the base and good structured. We'll go out here and show you our 2 favorites.
Looks like they're heading towards Sarah Sullivan to potentially win this division. She did. It's official. Go down there and
your neighbor.
Hey, my neighbor girl.
Your little neighbor girl. I bet, right, huh?
Yeah, my dance partner.
What about that, huh? One just kind of really getting started into it, and one, I think this is Sarah Sullivan's last expo, I think.
I believe that'd be correct. Yeah, and I'm not so sure. I think this might be Bristol's first expo.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool.
So, yeah, and I know she is so passionate, loves it. And I would say with her mother and father.
All right, your champion Division 4 commercial heifer goes to Sarah Sullivan. Reserve.
She will. She'll be a name that we'll have to call out here a time or two more as well. There, so now we should be bringing back our division winners.
Should have 4 divisions, 4 reserves,
and then come back out here and kind of see where we're going to be. So it looks like we'd have Sloan Kern against Sarah Sullivan again, battling out between 3 and 4, ain't we?
I think so.
Just like we did in the Angus.
Yep.
So,
again, taking nothing away from those earlier divisions, I think it kind of comes down to those 2 bigger heifers. The bigger divisions right now. I mean, there's those earlier cattle were good.
Oh, they were. I think
that Cole and Lincoln, they had nice commercial heifers in that Division 2. You know, those were good.
Snyder's heifer, that one Division 2, very nice heifer.
Yeah.
Then that one is a Memphis Mafia Lincolns. I thought she was good.
And then we had Maggie Carr and Drew McCullough were good in that first division. You know, those were good heifers. They got a good look.
4th and 3rd class.
I think when you at home watch your monitors when these cattle come in, again, a lot of differences within those classes, and that's from the sire side and the dam side. You know, we don't know what they all are, but from the standpoint of there's In God We Trust, there's Who Made Who's, there was probably a Hoodaman cow in there.
Always had some 24
Memphis
carats.
Mafias,
Memphis
24
Mafias
carats
was in there that looked good.
What was the Rogers girl was One Oak. That was a One Oak that was in there.
That was Curtains. Curtains is a One Oak.
Curtains is a One Oak. Sorry. Okay.
Yep. The Rogers girl, I believe, was a style.
Yep. You're right. I'm sorry.
She was a stout style, but she was a style.
She was a stout style. Yeah.
Hey, we got our good buddy Joel Edge. Is Joel listening to us right now? Did you get that from him?
I got a text. Yep.
Did you holler out to him already today?
No, I need to.
No, we didn't. Hey, we're glad to have you, Joel, to be tuned in. It's an honor for us to be able to entertain somebody of your caliber. To be out here, we're just having fun, rambling, talking, listening to cattle, talking about stuff. It's been good.
Joel's one of the good ones. We've been friends for a long time. I guess that's a good thing. You get as old as we do, we get friends for a long time. That's
hey,
the nice
I
thing
told a
about
lot of young people, one thing about friends, you never lose them unless you do somebody wrong. All you do is make new ones.
Yep, make new ones
you
every
just
day.
keep making more and more all the time. And just because you don't talk to somebody every day doesn't mean that they're a friend or not a friend. You can have some really good friends that maybe don't talk as often.
Well, like you and we talk about twice a year.
We do.
And I consider. I know. I mean, there was a time I was traveling over that way. I think I judged a fair over there, and I needed a place to lay over a couple calves. Remember that time?
Yeah, I do remember that
and
time.
I called you up and said, hey, do you mind? You instantly, yeah, I got a spot. Come on. And instead of me driving back and forth, so
right.
Yeah, we got friends all over. That's a good thing about our industry is we are.
It is.
It's as long as
its
you
own
go right.
family.
Another thing I think about our family, and by family I mean this cattle industry and the livestock industry. I didn't realize that your boy had won the State Fair Pig Show. I just asked you if you got into the pigs. Kim Lewis came up here, and her family, her and AJ, are big into the pigs. But we get there. You can learn something new every day if you're willing to go into every day with an open mind. I always love talking to longtime cattle guys, pig guys. You learn something. If you just shut up and listen, you can learn something
right,
for the most part.
And I think no matter species or all the calls, if you're a good stockman,
it
carries back over all the way. If you can tell, you've just got to,
hard work and the knack.
Just and understand you can't be an absolute expert on everything, like you said before. You just got to have the ability to siphon through it and be able to ask somebody that knows what they're doing and what they want. So,
well, and ask good people. Ask people that do that. And I think for the most part, these guys that are good. You just look out here. You got the Paulsons of the world. You got the Wade Rogers of the world. You've got a Kendall Bremers of the world. You got Mitch Udell. There's just, and I'm not trying to slide or leave anybody out. There's just some really, really good people.
Combined what Dan and I have tried to do for 2 days, his structure and feet and his power and his body and his look and his freshness, and I think we've really done a nice job lining these females up like out here today, and they're all 8 very commendable females, and any given day 2 different guys sort them. You can line them up a lot of different ways, but the 2 that we like very well, and we think they excel out here. We'll go show you our 2 favorites.
Well, we talked earlier about the commercial.
And your 2023 Iowa Beef Expo champion commercial heifer going to Sarah Sullivan, reserve to Sloan Curtin. Champion commercial heifer, Sarah Sullivan, reserve, Sloan Curtin.
We've only had 2 divisions today, Chad, but the same young ladies. Just flipped them. Yeah, we've only had 2 divisions.
Is that called revenge or not? I don't know.
It's called good cattle and good families that can do them, raise them, and get them ready. So, yeah. But those 2 girls, they've spent a lot of time in the winner's circle and the backdrops.
Let me ask you this question as we got just a second or two. We're talking about that, and this would be her last Beef Expo, Sarah Sullivan, and the cattle she's brought us.
Yeah.
How has she changed how we show in Iowa in the years she showed?
Oh.
How high has she raised that bar?
Pole vaulter high. She
as high as it gets.
As high as it gets.
And not only in Iowa, but
nationally, but even in Iowa. She and her family and her dad and crew, the guys around there, but her dad is undeniably one of the best eyes and cattlemen that I've ever seen. Now, I'm not. There's some people have rolled their eyes and all that. That's fine. But he did a type and kind conference at his place in Dunlap one time, and Tyler and Karen and I went. And Mr. Dan Hogue, I think, was one of your instructors.
Yes, he was.
Which is coming up, being nominated in for the saddle and sirloin portrait hanging. Him and Dr. Edwards, or not Edwards.
Dr. Gerald Callahan.
Gerald Callahan. But anyway, having said that, though, the one thing, again, going back to Harlan Ritchie and going back to some of those things that stick in your mind, we asked John Sullivan, said, how do you pick Sarah's heifers? Outside of, obviously, you go look at the best ones. He goes, the one with the least ifs is the ones we buy or look at. I go, what do you mean? If she stays sound enough,
if she's good enough fronted, if she has enough muscle, if she's got enough rib, if she's long enough, if she's sound enough, blah, blah, blah. The one with the least amount of ifs are the ones we migrate to. And you know, you think about that?
Sure.
That's pretty good. That's pretty damn logical.
It
That's
is,
pretty
yeah,
easy.
right.
That really takes.
Hey, it says easy, but it's hard to go get them cattle.
Well, I understand, but,
No,
but
but
you,
yeah,
I mean,
right.
how many times have you looked at a bull? I looked at a bull. Bought a bull the other day. In fact, I bought a bull from Matt Copeland down in Fort Worth. I saw him in Kansas City. I loved him. He's a baby calf. He's in April. I love the calf then.